Yikes, they made us duck again. The Thunderbirds face a nearby Nellis Air Force Base right across the boulevard from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, putting on a great impromptu pre-race show. Welcome back to the Pennzoil 400, presented by Jiffy Lube at Las Vegas Motor Speedway as the field rolls on. Let's get a word with our pole sitter.
Let's do it. Michael McDowell, Kevin, and the guys in the Fox booth up here. Man, what a great job from your team and putting that car on the pole today. How do you capitalize on the day, and what are those challenges going to be in front of you?
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a great day. I didn't do a whole lot, just held it wide open, but really fast, Spire Motorsports Chevrolet. Really proud of everybody to come out here in the 5th race and get our first pole as a company is a big accomplishment. And yeah, the #1 goal right here is getting a good start, keeping that clean air, and then we'll see where it plays out from there.
Did we get that cool suit working?
Yeah, they did. It's like every week there's been some little drama, but this one I think we got it sorted out, so no problem.
All right, man. Keep that head straight. Good luck today.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, let's have a look at the starting lineup for today's race. Michael McDowell has won the pole, and Joey Logano, a 4-time winner here, including last fall. Chevy Ford, front row. Here's Jamie Little.
Mike, it's hard to believe that the defending series winner has yet to finish in the top 10 through the first 4 races of the season. And things this weekend have not gone to plan either. I talked to his crew chief, Paul Wolf, and he told me in practice on Saturday, they were all over the place. The car felt disconnected. They made some adjustments, hoping to go in the right direction. They also reminded me that here in the fall, they were an 8th to 10th place race car, but they won on fuel strategy. Keep that in mind as Joey Logano looks for win number 5 at Las Vegas.
All right, row 2. We got number 2, Austin Cindric, and on his outside, it's the hometown boy, Las Vegas cat, Kyle Busch. Row number 3, Eric Jones, 3rd top 5 of the season. He's on a hot streak, and on his outside, Alex Bowman.
Row 4, we've got a guy who had a great run last week in that 21 Wood Brothers Ford Mustang, Josh Berry, and a guy who we think is one of the favorites today in the 24 car, William Byron. Row 5, Zane Smith with a great run at Phoenix last week, qualified well again this week, and another one of those favorites in that Hendrick car, Kyle Larson.
Let's dial up old Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson, sporing the boys in the booth. You got your ears on?
Yep.
All right, cowboy. Buddy, I feel like it's your turn. Pretty hot here. You won 2 of the last 3. What's your chances about Las Vegas?
I feel like they're good. I feel like my car handles pretty well. It feels similar to normal. I think a lot of other teams have closed in on the balance that it takes to get good around Vegas as well. So it just makes the races tougher, for sure. But we've got a great team. Just gonna have to do all the details right, execute good pit stops, good restarts, all that to maintain good track position, and then hopefully we've got the car balance towards the end to go after a win.
All right, buddy. Good luck out there. Similar to normal. That's a new one for me. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks. And I'm going to send you a bill, too, for babysitting your kids for the last 45 minutes.
All right, row number 6, a pair of RFK Fords. Chris Buescher coming off a top 5 last week, and teammate Ryan Preece with his best Las Vegas start. Then in row number 7, Christopher Bell looking for that 4th straight win of the season, and last year's runner-up in this race, Tyler Reddick in a Toyota. For Christopher Bell, he led just the last lap at Atlanta. That was the one that counted. And at Coda, where he was the strongest car. And finally, in a shootout at Phoenix, he won that 3-way gunfight. Regan Smith.
Mike, what a fantastic 3 weeks it has been for Christopher Bell. Unfortunately, though, yesterday they found an issue in the throttle body of that race car. That meant they had to change it out. It affects when the driver gets on and off of the gas pedal, meaning he will drop to the rear today. If he's going to get that 4th straight win, it will be a little more complicated. The goal is going to be to get as far forward as quick as they can so they can get a good read on that car in clean air. He does have good company starting back there with him also. Ryan Blaney, a practice issue yesterday, blew a right rear tire. You see right there, Ryan helping the team fix the race car. It was all hands on deck. He will also be going to the rear. He's done that in the past 2 races here at Vegas. Another one with experience at doing that. Keep an eye on those 2 guys.
All right, thanks, Regan. Now, let's take a closer look at the rear diffuser and travel stops with our crew chief, Larry McReynolds.
Yeah, Mike, aerodynamics so important at this very fast mile-and-a-half racetrack. Anything teams can do to help the downforce, the grip of the car in the corners, it's going to help the handling of that race car, make the lap times faster. Let's go to our Toyota Camry cutaway car, and let's look at that rear diffuser under the rear of the car. As the air flows under the bottom, when it gets to the rear diffuser, the speed really picks up. You see the strakes or the fins. You want to keep the air organized in those strakes. That makes downforce. You also want those strakes as close to the racetrack as you possibly can. That makes the most amount of downforce. But you don't want them bottoming out. Look how disorganized the air is. When you do that, you've lost downforce. How do teams control the travel in the rear of the car? Let's take a look at the inside of the right rear shock, and you're going to see a travel stop there. How you increase or decrease the travel is with those yellow polyurethane shims. You can add or you can take away. You don't want that shock shaft bottoming out. That totally upsets the race car. But guys, this can be a real challenge, especially in bumps in 1 and 2. They get worse every time we come here.
And I think that's what compounds the tire problems with the failure with the lower air pressure as well.
Well, the hard part about guessing about that today, and I call it a guess because I believe it is, there's science behind it, but when you run that slower pace, the car doesn't travel as much, and you're going to let air out of the tires, and so many things that go with setting that gap. Will be interesting to see who gets it right.
So leading the field, the Toyota GR Supra. And our honorary pace car driver, Chelsea Green, the inaugural reigning WWE Women's U.S. Champion. Beautiful day, a little warmer than it's been here. Friday night, it was chilly for the truck race. Things improved yesterday. And here's the nicest day of the weekend, 63 degrees going into the 70s. Winds out of the southeast at 11, mostly cloudy. Track temp 78.
Here's one that we're going to have to be ready for. It always catches me off guard here. Restarts, Kevin. They're so chaotic, and it happens right here at the start of the race.
Yeah, and you want to be aggressive, and that open lane will open up for you. But if you get hung on that open lane down the back straightaway, you're going to be the bottom of 3 wide. Next thing you know, you're going back a few rows.
3 stages, 80, 85, and 102 laps. Here's some Kyle Busch radio.
All right, I don't want to hear no down in the dumps bullshit today. We're going forward. That's all that we're going to do all day. Copy that.
I love that. And that's the best way to deliver that to Kyle Busch. He's aggressive, and we know that he can do this. They've been in position. They just want focus forward.
I want to see Wild Thing back. I know he's rowdy. That's his self-appointed nickname. But when he was winning early on in his Cup career with Hendrick, he was Wild Thing. And if Wild Thing comes back, watch out.
You mean Rick Vaughn?
All right, field addresses itself to the starting line. Michael McDowell, Joey Logano, a Chevy, and a Ford lead them to green in Las Vegas.
Took the outside, Kevin. Michael McDowell, your pole sitter. Already 3 wide. Here we go.
Well, you see that little gap in between the Michael McDowell and the second place car, so he's going to get a shot right about the middle of this straightaway. Right now, these cars will have the most grip. As you see William Byron up there on the top side. All these lanes will work today, and as a driver, you just want to find the cleanest air possible. Get out from behind that guy in front of you.
4 wide back here.
Plenty of racing room here.
You got a lot of different agendas to start this race. You know, everybody knows that the lanes are wide here and you can go anywhere on this racetrack. So you'll have guys who just want to settle in. You'll have guys who are not comfortable with their car and guys who just want to go right now, hammer down and don't care about the consequences, just trying to gain track position.
Well, that's the differences in the handling characteristics of your car, too. Sometimes they take off fast, a little bit tighter probably, and then the ones that are freer, they got to hold on to it. They're in trouble here for a few laps till the pressure comes up in the tires. Here we go.
Joey Logano to the front, ahead of McDowell, Cindric, and Busch.
I knew McDowell had a short time to keep him trapped down on that bottom before he relinquished that lead to Logano. Wasn't able to do that. Logano to the point.
William Byron for 5th. Slots that Chevy in between Bowman and Busch. Big log jam at the back. Neither Blaney nor Bell able to gain a ton of ground in the opening couple of laps. Maybe 3 spots.
It's gridlock. When you look up in front of you, it's 3, 4 wide. 4 or 5 rows deep. There's not many places to go.
Well, and that's what you want to see right there. You want to see some clean track in front of you. And as Blaney is in the middle to the top of that racetrack, as fast as his car was yesterday, he knows he has the capability, if he just puts his car in the right spots, to drive right through this pack, as you see Christopher Bell right in front of him.
Single file up front through about the top 10, but a big variety of racing lines in use coming off turn 2 here.
Yeah, and when they redid this racetrack in 2006, as you see Ryan Blaney go by SVG right there. So as this run goes on, this is notorious. That will notoriously be. That's a smart move.
Yes.
Defense right there. He didn't know where Ty Gibbs was going, and you see the flames out of the pipe of Gibbs right there. That exit of turn 4 gets really tricky as that wall comes back towards you.
Ty Gibbs has got his hands full right there. That car was all over the place.
The beginning of these races can be very confusing for a lot of guys because you get yourselves in these unique positions where the front end will just take off. You'll get big runs on guys. The car will snap loose. A lot of really strange things happening with all the air moving around and the way that these cars are so sensitive to the aerodynamics. And it's just it's a bumpy, hair-raising ride for these guys inside the car with the speeds this high and the way that the bumps and the way that you have to drive this track.
We used to talk about speeds. This car right here is on the move. Said just a little bit ago, if the 5 can't get it done, keep an eye on William Byron, and he has proven the point. Very fast, just past his teammate Bowman and catching these guys in a hurry.
And I would tell you he was better than the 5 in practice. Looking at his lap times, I think that William Byron had what I would consider the best car.
Coming around a complete 7 laps here with Joey Logano in the lead for 6 of them. Let's look at today's race strategy, sponsored by Straight Talk Wireless. Larry?
Yeah, Mike, move your groove around. Don't be afraid to move around searching for grip, but clean air. Get out of the wake of another race car. Kevin said drop the air pressures. Don't be too aggressive. You can't get those air pressures too low. The tire will get damaged early and won't show up like on Ryan Blaney's car yesterday to maybe 20 laps into a run. Strategy-wise, as far as pitting, we're going to split the 3 stages in half, probably coming 5 to 10 laps earlier than halfway to get advantage of those fresh sticker tires.
Thanks, Larry.
And where we will really see this race and this run start to take place is really about that 20 lap mark. That's really when the cars are going to start to slide that right rear. And whether you're tight with the front end or no matter what the condition is, that right rear is going to start to lose grip.
10 complete. McDowell led the first one. No first lap leader has ever won at Las Vegas, but this is a place where long odds can sometimes pay off. that's what Ryan Blaney's been doing. He is up 15 spots since the start of this race. Everybody chasing his Penske Ford teammate Joey Logano out in front of Michael McDowell now by 9/10 of a second. We were allowed to sit down on the pole sitters pre-race meeting this morning.
All right, well, I just want to start by acknowledging the fact that we're on the pole. Spire's first pole, or as a group with Michael's first pole to intermediate. Very impressive, very fast car, very proud of you guys. On that note, it's going to be about execution, keeping the car up there, keeping everything smooth, because we all know how important track position is. If we can just keep him up there and let Michael do the rest, that'll be important for today. So hopefully nice, smooth green flag stops and 4 tires will be the name of the game today. So, you got anything to add, driver?
No, proud of everybody. It's it's been an up and down few weeks, but it's a good day to be great. So let's be great. Let's go do it.
All right, on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Michael McDowell led lap 1, currently third. Austin Cindric has passed him for second spot. Joey Logano has now led 16 of the 17 laps.
Yeah, and I think when you listen to Michael McDowell's speech, that's exactly what Spire wants to be. They want to go from good to being great. That's the effort that they put in, the money that they put in this year.
Well, Ryan Blaney has gone from 36th into the top 20 now. He's blasted his way halfway through the field. Meanwhile, Christopher Bell, who also started out back, has gained but 6 positions since the start.
All right, Kevin, we know it. When these tires start to flip a switch, that's what separates the men from the boys. Lap 18, we got some movers.
Yeah.
Got some guys really coming on. Look at these biggest movers here. But I'm telling you, I'm watching. Keep an eye on Reddick. Tyler Reddick in the 45 car. You saw Cindric make that pass on McDowell. Here comes Byron in tow. A lot of movement because of the laps on these tires finally.
Well, and when we had that onboard of Ryan Blaney, that's exactly what you want to see. You want to be able to be in a part of the racetrack that everybody else is not. And we know that this lap 20 area is when we talked about Bubba Wallace yesterday being so fast when he fired off. He got to that 15 lap mark and he did not like his car at all, but it had really fast fire off speed. So it'll make for a long day if your car will only feel good for 15 laps.
All right, as we watch Bubba Wallace battle with the number 9 of Chase Elliott, let's check with Jamie Little.
Well, Kyle Busch, 1 of 3 Las Vegas natives in the field. He slipped back 2 spots so far. Yesterday in practice, they felt like their fall off was just a little too aggressive. They made some adjustments, and to start this race, he said he started off loose. 2 laps later, it got better, and it's getting better as the run goes. I think that A car is one we need to watch today, guys.
I like this one right here. The beast is loose on this racetrack. Tyler Reddick, very good here last year, and is able to pick him up and put him down. He's passed some cars out here, moving around. He was cleared up by the wall. He's down on the bottom, marching forward. Tyler Reddick.
He's up 5 positions since the start.
And you look at that 45 car running the bottom of the racetrack. We always think of Tyler Reddick wanting to run the rim around the boards there up atop of the racetrack, and he is on the bottom of the racetrack right now. And we saw a little bit of difference yesterday with that softer tire, with the way that they qualified. They qualified these cars wide open. Pretty much the whole field was wide open in qualifying. So maybe with a little more grip, they go through those bumps a little more comfortable as they go through this run.
Joey Logano leads the league in laps led, but does not have the finishes to show for it. He's piled up a lot of stage points in the early races this year, but top 5s have eluded the defending champion.
There you see Zane Smith with a great qualifying effort from Front Row Motorsports today. Get yourself positioned towards the front of that pack. It allows you to get yourself in position for that first green flag pit stop, the first caution flag, whatever that is. To be able to keep that track position is super important. We've seen him slip a few spots as he's gone through the first few runs of this, but qualifying well is so important at these tracks. And really, that's what's kept Joey Logano in the game. He scores a ton of stage points with those good qualifying efforts.
24 laps complete. Regan.
Mike, you guys have already mentioned how quick Ryan Blaney's moving up through the field. 14 spots right now since the start of the race. He's been relatively quiet on the radio, but just came in a few moments ago, told the team the race car is just a little bit tight right now. Other than that, not a lot of complaints. Jonathan Hassler told me this morning I would dial back my aggressiveness just a little bit. Well, evidently he has hit it right so far.
Thanks, Regan. So 80 laps in stage 1, half of that would be 40, and that means pit stops will be starting here in about the next 10 laps or so. We'll step away now, so we'll be back for pit stops. Joey Logano leading in Vegas. Ryan Blaney pits from 17th place. Little trouble on the left front there. And he's still on pit road. A lot of trouble here.
More trouble. Not good. We got a problem.
It's going to go at least 1 and maybe 2 laps down as pit stops begin with 8 laps to halfway in stage 1. Blaney's away finally.
Well, and that's what we talk about as we see our leader forced everybody to come to pit road.
Joey Logano in the pit lane, handing the lead to Austin Cindric, who had caught Logano on the racetrack, was trying to make the pass, had difficulty doing that, and Logano abandoned the lead to come to pit road. Kyle Larson is in. Regan.
Like Kyle Larson right now, things going smooth for him. Had some debris on the grill earlier, though. Spent a couple laps trying to get that off of the nose. Otherwise, didn't want anything different. Jamie?
Joey Logano led 30 laps, just came in, said on lap 25, balance was good, but they're just going to tighten him up a little bit. They did that with air pressure, as you see. Austin Cindric in the 2 car and a tire on the track. The caution is out, Mike.
That will bring out the first yellow flag of the day. You picked a fine time.
I think it's Briscoe's tire, guys.
Well, we talk about it every week. So many things. There you see that left rear tire off of Chase Briscoe's car. So many things happen on pit road, and those are the dotting of the I's and the crossing of the T's that you have to do in order to win these races. And so close to being on the ragged edge every time these cars hit pit road.
So Austin Cindric coming to pit road handed the lead to Kyle Busch over Chase Elliott and Tyler Reddick. Well, Larry, that kind of throws pit strategy for a loop, does it not?
Well, it does, Mike. You know, everybody that's not pitted, obviously they're on the lead lap, but all those drivers that hit pit road under green, they'll take the wave around. When everybody pits that hadn't pitted, they'll go around, they'll be back on the lead lap. I at first had kind of thought that may have helped Blaney, but right now my scoring monitor is showing him 2 laps down, not just 1.
You knew it was going to be something there with that bad pit stop.
31-16 to pit stop.
Not going to.
All right, now here is Chase Briscoe's stop. Uh-oh.
Man, they didn't.
Yeah.
Should have backed him up, Kevin. They knew it.
Yeah, and they knew it, and usually that's a communication between the crew chief and the driver. Stop, back up, because you don't want this to happen.
Now, Larry, you used to have to manually cycle the air gun for these center lock nuts. Don't they have something now that when you drop the gun, it changes it from off to on or vice versa?
Yeah, I mean, it does have a sensor in it, Mike, but the thing about it, we blame the tire changer. A lot of time it's on the jack man. The jack man may be looking at one end or the other, and the guy that he's not looking at's not done. He drops the jack. That's the driver's sign to go. So a lot of times, yeah, we put it on the tire changer, but a lot of times it's on the shoulders of the jack man.
And it's happening in such a short amount of time. A lot of times they'll drop that jack and that thing will just not be able to get itself positioned correctly on the hubs because all this is happening in 9 seconds.
I think those guys knew pretty quick. That could have been relayed to it. That's going to obviously be a lot bigger penalty, lasting penalty because of the getting off of pit road with the tire off of it. But I think they should have backed him up and probably had time to do it.
Well, drivers told us pit road was going to be an issue today.
When we come to Las Vegas, one of the things that I think about the most is how tough Las Vegas's pit road is.
The entry of pit road is so close to turn 4 and it's completely flat. You come off the bank and you kind of slam the car down.
This one kind of stays curved all the way through it, and the pit boxes are slick.
There's some hot sections that can be troublesome.
You know, the races can be won and lost on pit road. Definitely an important piece to this race.
So we're under caution for the first time today. Pit road will open. There are 22 cars on the lead lap, those that had not made pit stops, and they will cycle through as Larry explained. Drivers that were already in will take the wave around. And yes, Ryan Blaney did lose 2 laps on pit road for difficulty with the left front. He was the first car to come onto pit road during what looked like was going to be a round of green flag stops.
Bad got worse, didn't it?
Yeah, and it never fails on the days when you have the fastest cars, when all that stuff seems to blow up.
Regan?
Mike Josh Berry, good again this week. A 4th place from last week. Running inside the top 5 right now in the 21 car. Just lacking a little bit of rear grip right now, but nothing too major. In the 9 of Chase Elliott. Right rear was building too free as he went. He thought it was manageable right there, though, Jamie.
45 of Tyler Reddick said he got better as they ran. Not bad on the bottom either. Pretty happy with it. He told me this car was really good yesterday in practice. See the right-hand side. Kyle Busch said a lot going on all at once, but 3 and 4 biggest weakness. They needed a little more grip, air pressure adjustment for the 8.
Kyle Busch will lead them off pit road, and they will cycle in behind the cars that had already made stops, and we'll get the wave around here. So we'll restart the running order when we come back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Live from the Tokyo Dome, the greatest show in baseball makes his triumphant return home. Shohei Ohtani and the reigning world champion Dodgers open their regular season against the Chicago Cubs. It's the Tokyo Series, Tuesday at, get this, 6 a.m. Eastern Time, live on Fox. Got that, Clint? You going to be dialed in? 6 a.m.?
Ooh.
That's what I thought.
Clint doesn't do good at 6 a.m.
All right, 2-lap penalty for Chase Briscoe for losing a wheel out on track, and vacation for 2 of his pit crew members, Larry.
Yeah, Mike, let's go to our Toyota Camry cutaway car and show you exactly what goes on with this single wheel lock. This is the 4th year we've been running it. The threads on it is left hand, which is kind of immaterial. But if you look at the back side of the tire, you'll see 18 drive pin holes, and on the hub, you see 6 drive pins. When they put that lug nut up there, that spring-loaded lock, it pops up right there. But the thing about it, if the lug nut will tight, but maybe that lock will not be in place like you see right there. So you have to make sure that lug nut goes up there and that lock pops out. That way you know the wheel is tight, because it will actually tighten, but the drive pins may not be exactly seated into the drive pin hole.
That latter part is what I was looking for. The drive pins, you said 18 holes for those 6 pins to go in. That's a lot of different options, but they will actually get, believe it or not, hung up in between those holes and not go in. That won't push the wheel all the way in, and it won't go to past that spring deal.
And that's what happens when you drop the jack too soon, and it puts all the pressure on the tire to not let that stuff just go on straight.
So a 2-lap penalty for Briscoe. Sometimes it's bad to leave all your luck in the casino. Denny Hamlin has been busted for too fast entering pit road.
That's not luck, Mike. That's just a miscalculation there of pushing that pedal a little bit too hard.
I'm being kind, Kevin. And Kyle Busch, same penalty.
Look at Artie having fun on my expense right here. This is a man. I don't know.
Did you hear what he just said?
It's not great. What?
The same penalty for the 8.
Oh no! He was 4th, guys.
And that's what we've been talking about with when this 8 car is in position to
Mistakes.
win. You know, they did such a great job with everything at COTA, but so many times we've seen that 8 in position to win and have something like this put them behind the 8 ball again and have to make up that everything that they already had with all the track position, and now you're scrambling just to get yourself in position to find the front again by the end of the day.
Free pass goes to Cody Ware, and I loved his driver's suit in driver introductions, and I love the paint or wrap scheme on this number 51 because it celebrates Evel Knievel.
Yes.
Probably the greatest showman in the history of the automobile. And that suit, it's got the stars running down it and the stripes
lucky,
and the
baby.
whole. It's all Evel Knievel. Just don't try to jump anything with that car,
That
Cody.
museum is coming to Las Vegas, and let me tell you, folks, as somebody from Kansas where it used to be, you need to go see that museum. It's awesome.
He gets the free pass on this caution.
And look at this, guys. There's a few guys that got pretty lucky in this cycle that pitted and stayed on the lead lap. So you've got Cindric, Bowman, Logano up there. So it's
Elliott.
That was a crazy cycle of events right there.
Here they are at the Echo Park Automotive Restart Zone. Cindric's Ford, Bowman's Chevrolet, Logano, Elliott, Reddick, Wallace, Allmendinger, Berry, Bell, and Hocevar the top 10. 4 wide immediately.
Well, this time it doesn't surprise me that it's even more chaotic on this restart. This time they know what to expect. They know what grip level they have in their cars. Speaking of grip level, I bet you that 48 cars with that clean air on its hood, it's handling better.
Well, you see that yellow car of Joey Logano down there on the bottom. Now we saw how he did running out front. Now it's going to be interesting. We're going to really get to see what kind of car he has now that he's in some traffic.
It's a huge difference. Cannot be understated.
Bubba Wallace right with them and coming on the inside. Chase Elliott on the outside, trying to hold him down.
That was close. Not clear. Still there. Alex Bowman. I'll tell you what, Bubba Wallace is coming to the front. His car was loose yesterday in practice, but fast. He told us that, Kevin. He did an interview with him, and he was said firsthand, man, this thing's fast, but it doesn't feel the best.
And here comes his teammate right behind, Tyler Reddick. High and wide on the outside, right where you'd expect Reddick's number 45 to be, up against the wall.
Well, and that's where you'll keep the most momentum right there.
Whoa.
It got tight coming off the corner. Josh Berry was in a position that he didn't want to be in, being 3 wide on the bottom like we talked earlier.
Speaking of 3 wide for the lead.
Well,
Cindric.
That fast car of Bubba Wallace right now is paying dividends up towards the front of the pack, and his teammate right there, Tyler Reddick.
So Elliott and Wallace were the big gainers from the caution flag. Elliott was 10th. Bubba was 12th when the flag flew, but here they are up front.
Did you see Bowman's car bouncing through that? Did the old hospital hop coming through them bumps?
And a lot of that just has to do with the positioning that you put the car in on the entry to the corner. You have to square that entry up to be able to get across those bumps correctly.
Here's another look at it.
Oh. Yeah, he just turned the car.
He actually didn't even get to the bump.
Yeah, he just turned it. He tried to be aggressive and turn that car back down the hill, and it
through
was
that
just,
wake.
Yeah, that was just trying to be aggressive with the car and just got a little overboard with it and got the back out from underneath him.
Got his attention, I promise you.
Front 5 single file, then double wide, and still 3 wide racing back in the field. As we work our way through, we've been through the first caution flag of the day for Chase Briscoe. Now on board with a Ford Performance Cam. That was Noah Gregson. And here's Chase Elliott trying to take second place, or third rather, back from Bubba Wallace. And does.
Well, these races all have some twists and turns that kind of set the tone of the day of who's going to be up front and who's going to have a chance to win these races. But that loose wheel of Chase Briscoe's has really turned the front of this pack into a little bit different group of people. We saw Austin, Cindric, and Bowman already up there, but you look back from there, Wallace and Logano and Berry and Allmendinger. I mean, it cast a whole new group of guys up towards the front.
Austin Cindric's been out front for 9 laps. He was challenging Logano for the lead under green, and Joey dropped off and went to pit road, handing the lead to Cindric. And now things cycle back around after the caution.
I talked about Hendrick Motorsports a lot in pre-race, but I didn't have these two as the ones that leading that charge. I had the 5 and the 24. Boy, I was wrong. Alex Bowman holding a pretty wheel out there, as his teammate Chase Elliott.
Yeah, we saw this car, Bubba Wallace, really take off fast. We know he has a lot of speed in the beginning run of his car, and see him kind of settle in as this run starts to go.
Joey Logano led 30 laps early, being challenged here by Josh Berry on the inside.
Well, continuing to impress everybody with this Wood Brothers car. Josh Berry doing a great job.
Yeah, and Josh Berry's doing a great job. But Joey Logano, you know, I think for us, we saw this happen at Atlanta, a different style racetrack. They get in traffic and their car doesn't handle as well in traffic as it does in clean air, which is the same for everybody, but it seems like it affects his more than most.
Ooh, a little wobble there from Berry as they come off the corner. A.J. Allmendinger there in 7th. In the number 16. 7th, right where he restarted after the caution flag and pit stops.
Always a pretty good track for A.J. Allmendinger. He definitely has his style of racetracks where that stick out like a sore thumb on the stat sheet that he runs good at.
Carson Hocevar continues to be a contender. Here he is in 8th. Well, restarted 10th.
Yeah, he didn't qualify well, and really in practice on the long runs, his car from a time perspective looked really good. And this guy, Tyler Reddick, up towards the top of the racetrack, looking to go where everybody else is not. And
then you go to the next one. These two right here. Christopher Bell just got passed actually by Larson, but Bell finally up to the top 10, looking for 4 in a row out of him. Larson, obviously, that pit stop really shook things up for him. He was one of the guys that hurt him.
Now Larson just took the wave around. He restarted 22nd on our list. William Byron running the high line.
I still think these guys have really fast race cars. It's going to take time to overcome the problem they had with that untimely stop there. The caution coming out in the middle of a green flag pit stop's never good.
29 to go in stage 1. Big time car guy John Schneider is here. Of course, he played Bo Duke in the Dukes of Hazzard. Nothing to jump here. There's Chelsea Green, the WWE champion with the belt. And the subdued command from Morgan Freeman today. A lot of fans and a lot of fun in Las Vegas as we've completed 58 of 267 laps. Third Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Austin Cindric out in front for 21 of them, has now moved to second on the season lap leader list behind his teammate Joey Logano. And this battle is for 8th place.
I think you're going to see those two battling for the next couple of weeks here. When we go to Homestead, Miami, that battle will continue between those two cars.
They do like the high line, don't they? Jamie.
Austin Cindric doing a great job, pretty happy with his race car. They just told him to take care of those right side tires. But things look a little bit different on the bench here on the pit box. Brian Wilson right there is his crew chief. He told me both of his race engineers are not here. They're working remotely back in Charlotte. That's mechanic Car Chief sitting up there with him. He told me his lead engineer is on baby watch, so they are in communication via text, and everything is fine until things go sideways and you don't have that face-to-face communication. All that data about fuel numbers and everything about the race car coming to him from Charlotte, but right now all is well.
Thanks, Jamie. Now Austin Cindric setting a pretty good pace here. He may start lapping cars before the end of the stage. That would be bad news for his Penske teammate Ryan Blaney. Blaney right now is in the free pass position, the first car one lap down. But if Cindric catches the back of the field, Cody Ware, Ty Gibbs, John Hunter Nemechek, that would take Blaney out of the free pass position. So you're leading, your teammate's got a shot to get back on the lead lap. How hard do you press these last few laps?
Well, you're going to press hard because the teammate you're trying to keep a lap down is one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. So you want to keep them a lap down whether they're on your team or not, for sure.
No wonder. I was your teammate.
Well, there you go.
Wait a minute.
Larry.
Yeah, I've been watching Denny Hamlin, this 11 car. Remember, had the pit road speeding penalty. Right now, a lap down back in 35th. I've been comparing his data, throttle and brake, to Alex Bowman and Austin Cindric. He is out of the gas so much earlier and so much more than those two up there leading the race. And he's doing something I see nobody else doing. He's having to use a little bit of brake, getting in both ends of the racetrack.
Well, it's definitely awful right now. I mean, he's definitely fighting some issues that
way off the pace.
Just put him way off the pace.
7th place here, Kyle Larson moving up.
That's up 15 positions on Larson. He had a heck of a restart past a lot of guys going where they're not. That's hard to do here.
Yeah, and the other guy right there with him, Logano, it is definitely, the traffic has definitely taken all the steam out of that 22 car.
Kyle Busch up 10 after serving that penalty for too fast entering pit road, as did Hamlin.
Kevin, that's such a good point, and it's so real. I mean, once he lost that clean air track position up front, that thing is in bad trouble.
Hometown of Riley Herbst carrying the Toyota Cam there with Kyle Busch alongside.
Kyle Busch up 11 spots, digging himself out of that speeding penalty.
Herbst holding him off for the moment, and there comes Chris Buescher. The UFL is back. Skip Holtz's Birmingham Stallions, a spring dynasty chasing a 4th title, but the rest of the league is coming for that crown. The new season kicks off March 28th on Fox. $15 to go in stage 1 as Busch has cleared the 35, and now the 17 moves alongside. We're going to take you, Fox, side by side. As you've been watching, Austin Cindric moving through the field despite pressure from Alex Bowman. Now they have lapped past Cody Ware and Ty Gibbs. So Gibbs is in the free pass position. Ryan Blaney, though he has a fast car, has little, if any, chance of catching them before the end of stage one.
And you look at the back side of this field. We talk about Ty Gibbs and his struggles. They continue again here today. But it's not just him. It's his teammate Denny Hamlin and Chase Briscoe who had the problems. You know, running 35th and 36th right behind him.
Joe Gibbs racing in 3 of the bottom 5 positions on the pylon right now.
You don't see that very often. I don't know that I've ever heard you say that, Mike.
No, everyone but Christopher Bell, who's in 11th. Bubba Wallace running 4th, 2.5 seconds off the lead. Had this to say about his car.
Yeah, fairly happy with my 1 and 2 balance. You can see I can keep the positive wheel into it. 3 and 4, just need more security, turning off the wall to center.
Needs more security. What does that mean, Kevin?
Well, we talked about that right rear tire, and we knew that the right rear tire would lose grip as this race goes. That's really a characteristic of this particular racetrack. So
in turn 3, I was going to say, sounds like turn 3 in Vegas.
Well, and we heard Denny Hamlin talking about Larry talk about Denny being loose in on both corners. So that right rear tire is going to lose grip, and when you're loose on the entry like some of these guys are talking, that really makes the center worse, because then you can't really tighten your car up because you can't turn the wheel like you need to make the arc into the corner. That can't be as wide either. So you wind up with all these problems that it creates for the center of the corner, how much speed you can carry to the center corner if you can't get the entry right.
This is a heck of a battle going on for the lead. Bowman runs him down as soon as he gets right to the bumper as Cindric moves up, aero blocks him, if you will, and start the process over again. He loses 5 or 6 car lengths, drives right back to this bumper. That's frustrating, but it's part of the game.
Regan?
Mike, just to update the progress of Christopher Bell, of course, caught a break the way the yellow flag came out there. Adam Stevens had mentioned that getting track position would be the most important thing that he could do today. He got that track position, found out that as he got a little bit better air, it is way too tight for him right now. And just behind him, the 24 William Byron caught on pit road when the earlier yellow flag came out. He as well has gone extremely tight. So a lot of different reports down here. Some guys slide in the back, some guys slide in the front. It's all over the place.
Well, it just becomes really difficult to get the balance of the car right, because when it's not comfortable with the back of the car, your first thing is, well, let's tighten it up. But this is just one of those tracks where you can't get the back of the car to really ever feel comfortable, because as you go through the runs and the tires wear out, and the natural progression is for that right rear tire to lose grip. So you think, I got to tighten it up, tighten it up, tighten it up. But that's why we start talking about taking air out of the tires and getting that rear diffuser as low as possible. They're going to go to trying to twist wedge in and out of these cars to change the heights and things, but really the biggest needle mover will still be the air pressure.
Yeah, a lot of times you just make the balance tighter, yet it goes slower. You never got me feeling any more comfortable. We're just slower. Put it back.
Well, 2 more laps, they'll have another chance to tweak on these cars as we come to the end of stage number 1. Austin Cindric in front by 1.5 seconds. Top 10 gets stage points. That's the position Christopher Bell just moved into as he passed Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, and Austin Cindric has done a great job as he's gone through the first part of this race, and he's going to capitalize on this stage here to get those stage points. And like you said, Clint, not somebody that we had on our bingo card to be the winner of stage 1, but you never know how these are going to go.
Well, Cindric won his dual race at Daytona to start the season, piling up stage points. This will be his first stage win, in-race stage win of 2025. And Cindric
right here. Good job.
Becomes the 9th different stage winner this year. We have not had a repeat stage winner. Cindric, Bowman, Elliott, Wallace, Larson, the top 5 at the end of stage 1.
over here.
Fox Sports Films' newest documentary captures Patrick Dempsey's return to professional racing in the Porsche Endurance Challenge after nearly a decade hiatus. Now here's a look at Kevin Harvick preparing Patrick for the challenges of Sonoma.
Yeah, I would err to being over the line on the left side of it, but really use that hill to shove the throttle back on there. But close to that apex wall, and maybe just not as wide. A car narrower through the whole thing allows you to get this line right here.
Destined to drive, Patrick Dempsey's return to racing, and that premieres tonight, right after this Cup race, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on FS1. All right, let's check with Jamie Little as we're under caution, the end of stage 1.
Well, Mike, defending series champion Joey Logano has had an all-star pit crew for many years, but this time around they have a new jackman. Let's meet Team 22.
Joe Dilly, front tire changer, second season in Cup, NASCAR champion last year.
Jake Seminara, I'm the rear tire changer. I met my wife in 6th grade. Love you.
Jeremy Ogles, tire carrier, two-time Cup Series champion. Ty Snelson, jackman. I was a two-time All-American football player in college.
Nick Hensley, fueler. I've been in this sport for 20 years.
Led by crew chief Paul Wolf. Holman Presley up on the roof as spotter, and there they are. They're in pit stall 6 today, and that pit stall has won 3 of the last 4 races here at Las Vegas. Pole sitter usually takes pit stall number 1. There's our Hunt Brothers Pizza onboard camera.
Right, here we come.
With Logano, who started outside the front row here and led 30 laps early. His teammate Austin Cindric leads him onto pit road. Regan.
Chase Elliott in the 9 car, very good that run right there. Just ended a little bit too free with the car as he finished off and maybe hurt the right front a little bit. They're going to make a small adjustment to tighten him up. The 5 car of Kyle Larson, one word from him, the car was phenomenal. Don't change it a bit. Jamie?
Austin Cindric pretty happy with that number 2. He said he's just 1 number tight, though. They're going to adjust for that with air pressure. And you see the 48 of Alex Bowman. Pretty happy. He said, I have a huge vibration is the biggest issue. Let's not adjust on as much. You see a lot of air pressure once again, Mike.
We're going to see a lead change, Mike. Chase Elliott and Bubba Wallace beat Austin Cindric off pit road.
So that'll put Elliott Chevrolet out front at 84 laps. Stage winner, Austin Cindric and his team Penske Ford.
Hey, hope you're enjoying the race. Live here, Jamie McMurray, Chris Myers with the fans here in the backstretch. Great weather day, enjoying things. By the way, the Stage 1 winner in this race has gone on to win the last 3. And Christopher Bell started outside the top 30. He's going for that 4 in a row. He's been as high as 8, so he's in the top 10. Who else are you keeping an eye on?
Well, Chris, we talked about Spire Motorsports being on the pole with Michael McDowell, but Hocevar, his teammate, started 25th, has driven up inside the top 10. I thought his lap times were really good. But I think more importantly than what we've seen on the track, I'd like to meet some of your family members here behind us.
Well, we have. I think didn't Clint Boyer do his tailgate king thingy with you guys?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. We're the tailgate kings.
And did he eat any of the food?
He ate all the food.
Oh, okay. I just. All right. Oh, hey, look who's here. You guys came over from the strip. We appreciate you letting us hang out until stage 2 when we have to get back to work here. But thanks. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. We knew that was coming. Mike and Clint, don't eat all the food. Kevin.
All right, Chris. Have fun down there.
That's my man Steve and Ralph right there, and all their friends and the 3 Elvises, the flying Elvises.
I feel like we should let Jamie and Chris start drinking beer after the pre-race is over if they're going to do stuff like this. What do you think?
Well, if that's going to happen, I'm
high fives all
You're
around.
going to reapply.
You're going to do this on your own.
You're going to reapply.
Well, now Chase Elliott's rolling time down pit road was
good.
1 second faster than Austin Cindric's. There was a reason for that. He was too fast entering.
Yep, I was scared of that. That's all me. Sorry, guys. I knew it. Yeah, it's all right. Long way to go. Got a good car. Regroup here. Work back through there.
Dang it. It's a bad feeling, Kev.
Jamie?
Well, Mike, I've been listening to the radios. A lot of drivers are talking about the extra marbles on the track that they're not used to seeing. These are the tires that came off the 48, and he had reported he had a major vibration. Well, they just told him all this rubber buildup is really what's leading to that vibration. And remember, we have a softer left side tire, and perhaps, guys, that's what's leading to the extra marbles today.
Thanks, Jamie.
Well, I can tell you this. This was always a place, and Clint, you can attest to this, high corner speeds. Everything that happens around Las Vegas Motor Speedway is really fast, and it always seemed like the tires shook here more than they shook anywhere else.
Yep.
Chase Elliott was caught speeding, Larry says, in the very first segment of pit road right past the yellow line. He has 2 speeding penalties in the last 3 races, but only 1 in the previous 109. So for the restart, Bubba Wallace, Austin Cindric, a Toyota and a Ford, then the Chevys of Larson and Bowman, the Fords of Berry and Logano. Bell, Suarez, Hocevar, Allmendinger the top 10 as they approach the Echo Park Automotive Restart Zone. Stage 2. Here we go.
Bubba Wallace has got a hot rod this weekend. He was fast yesterday in practice. Doesn't surprise me. They're hitting on all 8 cylinders, too.
And they got a great launch right there with 2 fast cars. And you see Larson go immediately up the racetrack as we're 3 wide, several rows deep here, but up in the front.
Here we go. He's got to his outside.
Yep. And that was a great move by Bubba Wallace to pull that thing down as hard as he did to break that side draft so that Larson couldn't get to that right rear quarter panel, got himself the lead back.
And it actually, I think it caught Larson off guard there. He looked over to get the side draft like you talked about, and he was gone. He was way off the racetrack on the apron. That was a heads-up move. See Allmendinger fighting there on the bottom. He's got
trouble for Bowman.
Probably a loose wheel.
Winner here 3 years ago on pit road.
Felt something he didn't like.
Well, and it sticks out quick right here.
Vibration.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, he complained of a vibration before the pit stop as well.
But didn't get better.
Nope.
Vibrations usually don't.
I'm
going to go back to Allmendinger.
Yep.
Doing a great job with that 16 car, running in the top 10, been that way all day long. A.J. Allmendinger.
All the way.
Allmendinger in 8th, challenging Josh Berry, who slips up the racetrack. Hard to tell when they go over the bumps. Did he slip up the racetrack or did he drive up there?
Well, a lot of times you'll especially when you're running in below the car. You'll just get over those bumps at a bad angle, and it'll just knock it up the racetrack. Regan?
Hey guys, just something to keep an eye on. You see how Kyle Larson out running right now. When he came in, the right front tire on Kyle Larson was showing some cords. The team did let him know that, so he could try to manage it. But that's a car that was very good on the long runs as well, so something to keep tabs on.
Thanks, Regan. Same right side tire as last year. New left side tire this year here in Las Vegas.
And I think some of these guys are more aggressive in traffic with how much wheel they'll be willing to hold in the car. I didn't want the front tires to chatter. I didn't want to try to put too much wheel when you're in traffic. I think some of these guys, and especially with this Gen 7 car, like Larson, some of those guys are just more willing to hold more wheel into it and let that front slide a little bit more.
Well, to your point, I mean, he passed a lot of cars. He had to ask more out of his race car and get more out of it. Use those tires up. Time will tell if it happens again, now that he's got the clean air up front where he's running.
Well, Alex Bowman, when he had his issue, it stacked the field up right behind him as he fought to get down to pit road.
Ooh, I think, was that Hocevar that had to really abort?
Yeah,
hit the brakes and move his line, I think it was.
When that happens, a lot of times the spotters up on the roof can't communicate with each other, and it's a surprise for all the cars behind him because a lot of times the driver is making that call and just makes it suddenly because he doesn't want to waste another lap and have the tire fly off or blow apart or whatever's happening at that particular time.
So Morgan Freeman had Bubba Wallace's hat on today in a pre-race when we were talking to him. It'd be a big win, be able to win in front of your hero, somebody like Morgan Freeman being in victory lane. Be pretty cool, Kev.
That'd be really cool. And now Myers
has been out front for the last 11 laps here, leading Kyle Larson by a quarter second. Joey Logano, Christopher Bell, and William Byron.
Next week, NASCAR heads south to Miami for a triple-header weekend. Coverage kicks off Friday with Truck Series practice at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on FS2.
New leader in Vegas, Kyle Larson. Here's how he got past Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, just had a good run off of turn 4, and now that we've been able to see Kyle get that lead, he just has he's able to get his car a little more arced into the corners. He's able to pull it down to the bottom, stay in the middle. It's just continuing to run, and we know that Bubba kind of fell off a little bit more in practice than some of these cars, but Larson's car is lights out right now.
Yeah, he's the only car. I see a 30-20, 30-40, 30-30, 30-30 behind him.
Well, speaking of behind him, you got Bubba Wallace in second, but look at third place, Christopher Bell, and here is Joey Logano battling William Byron. This is for fourth.
And Byron's coming back up through there too. Took him time. This is all just a product of that green flag stop that had a caution in the middle of it. Really shook this field up.
Yeah, we talked about Logano's car earlier in the race as we ride on board the Hunt Brothers Pizza camera. It didn't really go through traffic.
So the track is serviceable up there as high as you need it. It's at least clean. Can't say it's much better. Studeberry dropping.
Yeah, and you see him run the bottom of the racetrack, and talking about the racetrack up top being clean and being able to utilize that when you get in traffic. But they've obviously made Joey Logano's car better. It doesn't seem to be as fallen off as much in traffic as it did before.
And he moved up that lap in 3 and 4 and tried it. Didn't get all the way to the top. I don't think he's comfortable there. But that spotter, that intel, the communication that he relayed to him in that driver's seat, that's quality intel.
Back at 17th, Eric Jones, Ricky Stenhouse. They've both been in the top 20 much of the day, and now here again, 5th place.
Well, we've seen these cars battle pretty much the whole race today. Yeah. Josh Berry and Joey Logano, they've been right around each other since Logano lost the lead. So seems like they go back and forth between good run, bad run, as slides right up in front of him and Joey crosses him over.
Now their Penske stablemate Cindric is right behind them, and the other Penske car, Blaney, is now in the free pass position, 31st. Fifth place, Barry will take it for now.
Speaking of Mr. Where'd he come from?
Oh, back straightaway, car around and sliding down the backstretch. It is Van Gisbergen. That'll put us under the 3rd caution of the day at lap 108.
Got a tire down both sides. That kind of maybe was sliding. We'll have to see if that was culprit, if that another right rear like we saw in Blaney earlier. Hey, I want to go back to Bell real quick. I almost got it out, but he is laying some lap times down. Mr. 4 in a row, can he make it happen?
Well, he's in position now, and this caution flag, a big break for Ryan Blaney. He will be the free pass car. Coming off turn 2.
3 wide, tight racing quarters back there. Had cars on both sides of him, just lost the air on his car, got out from underneath of him, spun out. Did a good job of keeping it down and out of the wall, though.
And being in the middle like that, of when those cars are staggered and the way that these cars are, of having the air hit the right front fender or left front fender, the things that the car will do just suddenly when you're not in a clean air position can catch you off guard, and it'll be around before you even know what happened, as it was there.
3rd caution of the day, Kyle Larson leading for the first time today. He's led the last 9 laps. Bell right behind him. There's the Ford Performance Cam on board Ryan Blaney, along with the front bumper camera. And that view of the driver. Now he will get back on the lead lap. He took a wave around earlier because he exited the pits 2 laps down after having trouble on the left front on his first run of the day. Drove up past 16th on his last run and up past 20th on this one. Here is the Kubota cam on board Ross Chastain today. It's currently 10th. And pit road is open. Christopher Bell peels off in front of Regan.
Things going just the way that crew chief Adam Stevens wanted with that 20 car. The track position now having a chance to adjust on it. Snug early in the corner, then just a little bit free after. A great last change for them, though. And the 5 car of Kyle Larson continues to be good. Just a little bit free landing, but comfortable. Jamie?
And Bubba Wallace, they're going in the right direction for him. He came on the radio and said, we just need a half number, slight adjustment for longevity, and we will be good. The 22, Joey Logano, took extra time on that right rear. Neutral balance at this point, needs more grip overall. They'll do that with a little more air pressure, Mike.
Well, Kyle Larson got into a beehive of traffic, a storm of traffic right in the middle of pit road. And here's how they came off with Bubba Wallace at front, Byron second, Larson dropping to third. Welcome back to the Pennzoil 400, presented by Jiffy Lube at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 110 laps in, working the third caution flag of the day. Bubba Wallace, the race leader, after pit stops. Now, Christopher Bell came out of his pit, was going down pit road, and, well, Larry, we're going to let you unpack this. This is something I don't think we've seen before.
Well, let's take a listen to the radio, and that's going to tell a big part of the story.
Stopping somebody, Fox. Tighten up the left sides. Tighten up the left sides. Tighten up the left down there.
They got the left front. They did not get the left rear.
That's fine. It was the left front. Good job there. I was running it to tell him which one to do. Good job there.
That is heads up racing.
Thanks for giving me the heads up.
So he stops in his teammate, the 19's pit box, further down pit road. And they get that single lug nut tightened, and out he goes. Now, Larry, that'll be a penalty, but it could have been much worse.
Well, we know what happened to Kyle Larson a couple of weeks ago when he lost a tire and wheel on pit road. We also know what happened to Chase Briscoe, his teammate, earlier. 2-lap penalty and maybe lose a tire and wheel out on the racetrack. So that beats the alternative. Yes, it's pitting out of the box because they tighten that lug outside of his pit box. But what heads up by Adam Stevens, my gosh.
Great call. And now here's Bubba Wallace taking the lead as he pulls out and races down pit road with William Byron.
That was a great pit stop for the 23 car. Guys have been on fire today. Took that lead back. We want it.
Meanwhile, Austin Cindric pitted twice. Thought he had a loose wheel, stopped to get it tightened second time around. Well, when you're hot, you're hot. That was a great call by Adam Stevens in the heat of battle, but
absolutely,
boy, things have been going their way.
I've never seen that before.
Wallace, Byron, Larson, Reddick, Barry, Hocevar as we come back to green.
Larson definitely didn't have the pit stop that he was looking for. Lost lead. Oh, we got Kyle Busch at round. I'd say the toe length.
Oh,
no,
loose
the
wheel.
Look.
Tires off of it here. Tires off of it. Backing down. Got one coming up top.
What an unbelievable start to this race with everything that has happened on pit road.
So the wheel was loose and apparently was rubbing against metal, and the metal just acted like the bit on a lathe and just sliced that wheel in half.
Those alloy wheels, aluminum wheels, that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, and that wheel will start sliding around on that hub, and then, like you say, Mike, it cuts it in half, and this wheel just comes off the right rear tire of Kyle Busch's car, and this is the thing that they have to clean up in order to get to pit lane. But they're not the only ones. I mean, this has been a day that has just had a multitude of errors on pit road.
Kyle Busch restarted 12th and brings out the caution, the fourth one of the day.
We've got to have an iron fist. Mike Helton used to be the iron fist in the garage, and there's nobody ruling the simple, hard decisions. We can't wait until Wednesday to make a call, to do things and try to please everybody. You're not going to please everybody, but if you rule with what you think is right instantly, and we have to officiate the things correctly, but it has been as sloppy as I've ever seen the officiating. Right hook, left hook, road course, short track, intermediate, I don't give a what it is. Like, it is as simple as that Joey Logano over the line before the start-finish line call. It's that simple.
Well, if you want all the details and strong opinions, you want to tune in every Tuesday and Thursday to Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour, presented by Echo Park Automotive.
I didn't seem very happy there, Mike.
No, you didn't. Well, we had a lot to unpack there, didn't we?
There was a lot to unpack, yep. and I think passionate about what we do. And
sure, we want it right. We want to get it right. We want to get to there.
Yeah, and I think when we look at everything that's happening today, there'll probably be some pretty strong opinions about what's happening all over this racetrack. So it's been a very interesting start to this race with all the mistakes, just one after another on pit road, or loose wheels, or speeding on pit road. And that's where a lot of these races have been won and lost, because the margins have become so slim to gain an advantage that you're right on the edge of mistake all the time.
All right, we are under caution. We've had pit stops, and we will update here in a minute. 116 laps complete in Las Vegas. In just 2 weeks, get ready for the college basketball crown. 16 teams from top conferences put it all on the line in a new postseason tournament. Tips off March 31st on FS1 and Fox.
Look at that arm.
Yep.
Here comes Kevin. How do you do?
Oh, man.
Dang it. Got my finger jammed.
Today's area coverage provided by Goodyear, the best seat in the house since 1925. Happy 100th to the Goodyear blimp.
I'm still blown away by the reciprocity from the 19 team of Chase Briscoe and that pit stop. I've not seen the 20 car.
Say it one more time.
I am blown away.
Say it one more time. Somebody else's
one more
stall.
time.
Reciprocity.
I'm blown away by your thesaurus.
Yeah.
Yeah, you, Mike. You were the only one that could help him say that word, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling.
Meanwhile,
maybe he was pulling in there for that spring sale.
There you go. William Byron, the only driver to lead every race this year, is out in front with his Hendrick Chevy teammate Kyle Larson alongside. Toyotas in row 2, Wallace and Reddick. Hocevar and Berry, row 3, Allmendinger, Suarez, Logano, Gregson, the top 5. Denny Hamlin was the free pass car. He's back on the lead lap. The first of 31 cars. Michael McDowell and Alex Bowman got nabbed for speeding, so they will start out back. We'll be listening to William Byron's spotter, Brandon Lines, as we go back to green.
All the way to you. All the way to you. 77 half off him. Not connected right. Quarter off you. 5 holding you tight. Still square out the back. Still square. 5 number. Door. 23s. 1 back. 45 half off him. 23 staying in line. Got 3 of them connected top.
It's got more help from Reddick in the back. I'm talking about Larson on the outside, was able to beat him down the back straightaway. Big push from Reddick, and Reddick in tow, following suit here.
3 wide for 7th. A little bit of contact with Blaney in the middle there. Barry on the outside, Allmendinger on the bottom. Side by side for 2nd, Byron and Reddick. Now you watch from Blaney.
Well, you need to keep your eye on this Blaney car.
That's
because
right.
if he can get through this pack without having damage as he gets all the way up front, as you see the 99 car and the 77 all the way down on the apron, I think Suarez probably did not appreciate the 77 car trying to stuff it in there 3 wide and blocked him all the way down to the bottom.
Kyle Busch has taken his car to the garage to make further repairs. Apparently they had a brake line issue as well as losing the wheels on Kyle Busch's number 8.
Well, you can feel the intensity of this race picking up on these restarts. We saw right there way more aggressive moves than we saw at the beginning of this race, but these cars are all over the racetrack right now, and we've got a lot of players up front that we don't typically see. Josh Berry's starting to make himself a consistent player up front in that 21 car. Daniel Suarez in the Trackhouse number 99. Hocevar, who we thought was pretty good yesterday. So we ride on board with Joey Logano, who's been a little bit up and down since he's lost that track position. And now you see A.J. Allmendinger sneak to the outside of him.
Now Christopher Bell had to restart tail end because of the penalty Larry talked about when they stopped in Briscoe's box to tighten that wheel. That is considered pitting outside of your box, and you restart tail end of the longest line. So Christopher Bell's got to do it all again, just like he did at the start of the race, come all the way from the back.
I would say that little instance is probably going to get reviewed a little bit more next week as we've seen that happen. I don't even know how to describe that, but it's going to be an interesting topic of conversation.
I like it, Kevin. I think that it's certainly, as Larry said, much better than losing that wheel and taking the big penalty.
I agree with you.
Sure. Jamie.
How about Carson Hocevar? You guys mentioned him. Started 25th up to 7th. Had a great practice yesterday, but went out early in qualifying. Felt like that really hurt him. But I talked to Luke Lambert, his crew chief. He said, we really brought a versatile setup here, so we can throw some adjustment at it, and it has responded. That's exactly what's happened today. They were sure in practice to run in traffic as well in clean air. They knew exactly what they were getting. Keep your eye on that 77.
Good run so far, 7th place. From the back, here they come.
It's a great run by Hocevar and Josh Berry and A.J. Allmendinger. Very impressed with all 3 of those cars. Daniel Suarez, add his name to the list, running 5th.
Well, here's a few that should be up at the front. Christopher Bell with that penalty. Michael McDowell, a speeding penalty. He was our pole sitter. And Alex Bowman, a speeding penalty on his stop. Denny Hamlin back on the lead lap. He got the free pass on that last caution. See what he can do.
Tight left.
Well, that's one way to make up spots. Just pass them 3 at a time there, Clint.
Well, and you're able to do that at a track like this on these early starts, and they get to battling each other, maybe block.
Whoa, Van Gisbergen with the right front down.
Another flat tire.
Now he may make it to pit road, and we may be able to stay under green if there's no debris coming off that car.
Yeah, that wheel wasn't coming on. It's just a flat tire.
That's what'll happen. On board Ross Chastain, the Kubota cam. And here's 2nd place behind Larson, Byron and Reddick.
It's a great battle. All 3 of these cars.
See what happened to SVG here.
Yeah, you see that tire is already down. Yeah, coming off of turn 2 right there. But the right front tire was definitely flat. We saw a lot of damage and things from the previous spin out. Probably something that cut that tire down.
Well, even the wheel, you know, think back all the debris that wheel had to have put on somewhere on that racetrack of, you know, getting cut in half of Kyle Busch's car. He may have run over something this time.
So he's still on pit road. He'll go 3 laps down this time.
Doing the shoe.
Teammates battling for 22nd.
Yeah, and I really feel like this 12 car of Blaney, he can get through traffic as good as any. He's had some practice now, doing it a couple times, starting in the back, being a lap down, but he's going to be a player before the end of the day.
10th place, Chris Buescher passing Joey Logano. And moving up on Ross Chastain.
Reddick
second.
Big run for second. Reddick had a big run on the outside. This has been the cat and mouse game. He tries outside. Byron will pull up and arrow block him. There he goes. Had him second guessing again. Right back to the bottom. The speeds they run around this racetrack, it's an aero game. Stay in front of them. Keep that wake on their front bumper.
Well, we questioned, or I questioned whether those the history and the stats of things would be the same, but our leaders show that they are definitely factual. But here's a guy who hadn't had a great day, Clint. Michael McDowell was our pole sitter, and he's been nowhere to be found since the start of this race.
Dropped back a bit and then had a speeding penalty in the most recent caution.
That'll do it.
That put him at the tail end on the restart. Kyle Larson has now led twice for 21 laps. He leads William Byron by half a second. Just past halfway in Las Vegas, Kyle Larson leading. Now, coming up, the drivers only broadcast of the truck race is Friday night, and it's on Fox Friday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Then IndyCar from Thermal next Sunday on Fox, 3 p.m. Eastern. The NHRA Arizona Nationals next Sunday on FS1, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. So the drivers only telecast that we used to do for the Xfinity Series now moves to the trucks. That'll be fun.
It is. I'm thinking that I'm going to screw this up doing your job, Mike.
Why would you screw that up?
Well,
no.
it's a lot harder than people think.
You'll be fine.
What's your question, sir?
Somehow. Buddy, you don't know what you signed up for. You're in bad trouble. I mean, listen to this guy. You just had a word that you had to have him explain to you how to say. I cannot. I'm tuning in. Folks, tune in. It's going to be worth it.
Well, it's going to be fun.
I'm going to have a live chat watching yours.
So here is the broadcast for next Friday night. Kevin Harvick anchoring, Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski, the analysts, Austin Cindric, Carson Hocevar, the reporters. That's 8 p.m. Friday on Fox.
I've officially lost my driver's suit.
That's going to be, I was going to say you're not a driver either on that, but that's going to be a fun group. Like Hocevar being in the pits, it's going to be, Cindric does a good job at that as well.
Yep. We have the tallest pit reporters.
Well, that's true.
For sure, got that covered.
Kyle Larson out in front of these two, Byron and Reddick. Larson has won 2 of the last 3 races here at Las Vegas. By the way, next weekend, Kyle Larson is running them all. The trucks, the Xfinity race, and the Cup race.
If I was that good there, I'd run all 3 too.
Here's your Xfinity fastest lap so far. Joey Logano back on lap 3 when he was leading. 184.1 miles per hour.
Here he comes again. Reddick has another run at Byron. Byron's going to move up.
That'd be another point for Joey Logano, and he has excelled in gaining mid-race points. He's led 207 laps coming in here, most among all drivers. But he's the first defending champion of the sport with a goose egg in the top 10 list over the first 4 races. He's 9th in points, but he has the 2nd most stage points of any driver. Everything but the great finishes. They've run well.
Finally, Reddick, man, he has been working on this position, this pass for laps. It's taken him about 10 laps, and he finally got the job done, taking a position on William Byron. I promise you, he was finally, he said.
Let's go back to 6th place, Josh Berry and Regan.
Like Josh Berry again this week, continuing to have a very solid day. Crew Chief Miles Stanley said we need to build on what we did last week at Phoenix when they finished 4th. Exactly what they're doing right now. Been struggling for rear grip, but he's been doing a very nice job managing it throughout the course of the runs right now.
Well, Larry Mack pit stops have been the story here, or rather the errors associated with them. Are we going to have another stop before the end of the stage?
I think if we stay green, Mike, they will run this out. They pitted at lap 109. We didn't go back racing for that 2nd time. 46 to go. Another thing they have to be aware of, fresh sticker tires are so important here. They only have 8 set for the entire race. They've already blown through 4 of them. If we get a break out of a lot of cautions in that final stage, you want to make sure you got sticker tires in your pits.
That's a good point, Larry. That last part, especially. This is pretty uncharacteristic for this race, having all these troubles and everything. It's created some pit stops that probably weren't expected.
Well, here's Eric Jones coming after the number 12 of Brian Blaney. Blaney had been one of the fastest cars all day coming up from the back of the field, but has he maybe used it up?
Well, I think that a lot of this is just about the positioning of your car, and when you don't make that pass or don't complete the pass or side draft or somebody air blocks you, it slows you down, backs your momentum up, you lose some time, but now you're going to see Ryan Blaney drive away. But I believe he's, like I said earlier, I believe he's definitely got one of the fastest cars, and he's going to put himself in position to contend in that top 5 before this is all said and done.
He's not the only one, though. There's a lot of them having trouble this time more than the last. I mean, look back at Bell. He hasn't really went anywhere. Neither has Alex Bowman, that was up front running really well.
Another driver who's mired back in the pack is Austin Cindric. Jamie?
Yeah, Mike, he's led the most laps so far today, 47, and we have caution on the track right now. But Cindric, after that last caution, they came in. He thought he had a loose wheel, came in again. That's what got him mired back in the mid-pack.
Todd Gilliland. There's Austin Cindric. We are under caution at lap 147. And here's a look. Ricky Stenhouse, Todd Gilliland.
See Gilliland come up off the corner, loses the nose, runs out of real estate, bounces off the wall into the side of Stenhouse, back up into the wall. Hard contact.
That exit of turn 4 is really, really tricky because the wall comes straight out at the wrong angle. You can see that wall coming back towards the arc of the corner, and you have to turn back away from it. A lot of times, you'll get to the very end of the corner and that nose will start to take off, and by the time you lift out of the gas and try to make something happen, the nose is headed in the wrong direction and you can't stop it.
Now, they were racing for 14th. That caution is a break for Ty Gibbs. He will get back on the lead lap with the free pass. Now Kyle Busch coming back out of the garage, but being held there for 2 laps for the loss of the wheel. Then he'll be allowed to try to get back up to minimum speed and continue in the race. So Gibbs gets back on the lead lap. That'll leave Cody Ware 2 laps down, Chase Briscoe 3 laps down, Van Gisbergen 8 laps down, and however many Kyle Busch has lost in the garage, which we won't know until he comes back on track. Kyle Larson on the 1.5 miles has been just stellar. His 4 wins in the next gen car, the most of any driver. 4 second place finishes, 11 stage wins, and over 1,200 laps led. Puts him in a league by himself.
Larry, you were just talking about what tire scenario and what this has done with all these crazy scenarios happening on pit road. What does this do to us?
It does not do good for it, because they're going to come right now. We've run 27 laps. You're going to have to come again at the end of stage 2. That will leave you 2 sets of stickers for that final stage. You have your qualifying scuffs that has a lap or 2 on them, but you prefer not to use those.
Fifth caution flag of the day. And it comes out, we've raced a little less than 30 laps on this set. A lot of penalties today. Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Michael McDowell, Alex Bowman, and Christopher Bell have all had pit penalties of one sort or another.
Yeah, and some of them penalize themselves just by, correcting a problem on pit road. So we'll see the same thing right here. I'm concerned about Larson because he has to pull out around that 41, and the other guys seem to have a cleaner shot off of pit road. So let's see what happens right here.
12 lead changes among 9 drivers here as we're just past the halfway point, and everybody on the lead lap heads for pit road. Regan.
24 car William Byron running in second place right now. Car is good in clean air. He likes it when he gets up front, but still needs a little more front response out of what his front tires are doing. And the 5 car Kyle Larson still is really good. Cliff Daniels asked him, need anything for a short run? He said, nope, just keep it as it is. Jamie?
And the 45 at Tyler Reddick, pretty good, tightened up, and then it got loose. Now he wants an adjustment just to tighten him up, but he's happy with it. The 23 Bubba Wallace said he just needs a little help on fire off, but otherwise they're good. Those 2311 cars are putting in the work today, looking good.
A couple of cars out quick from pit lane with just 2 tires for Chastain, Jones, and Hamlin. That will put them up front when we go back to green. They're having a big time here in Vegas.
Have a good race, guys. Thanks for fixing this thing yesterday.
He's supposed to be at the back.
Did the best they can to get up there for you.
What was the yellow for?
The 19 lost a right rear tire there on the pit stop, I believe. They can't wait till the pit cycle's over.
Yellow, yellow. 88 spot on the back. Down low. Should be the free pass here.
Brian Blaney started this race in the back due to a practice crash, and he has been playing catch up all day long.
Yeah, there was two parts of that equation. Obviously, that wheel coming off of Briscoe's car was a problematic situation, but it made a bad situation worse because they had a bad pit stop.
So 5 caution flags so far. Still 116 laps to go. Race leader Ross Chastain takes the inside for the restart opposite Eric Jones. Denny Hamlin up to third with Kyle Larson. Bubba Wallace, William Byron, Suarez, Reddick, Berry, Hocevar the top 10. We have 32 cars on the lead lap as Ty Gibbs got the free pass.
Well, Kevin, how you feel about having 2 tires on?
I'm nervous.
14 laps to go.
I never liked 2 tires, but you know, there's a lot of guys that have been able to make it work. So this is just going to come down to the pushes and how this cycles out for the guys that have all 4.
You got to go 14 laps to get to the end of stage 2. The first 3 cars took 2 tires on that pit stop to gain track position. Here we go.
Still stay in middle. Still inside. 24, still your help. Still inside 11. Still there. Still there. Your help's half off of you. All clear. All clear.
Larson spotter, Tyler Munn.
Larson thought about crossing him over, going to the bottom. Had to check up out of the gas.
William Byron is there and coming to the front. And so's Larson. 3 wide.
Middle. 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 Still mid. Still.
Careful. Whew.
Yeah, and this is that same position with where Larson's at that you have to be really careful with, like SVG was earlier.
Who does Bubba decide to go with? It's Jones. He's going to get to position. Watch them get tight and have to lift out of the gas behind him.
Yeah, and you can see the back of that 5 car just moving around. Kyle Larson knows that he's in a vulnerable spot. Now he's got a car in front of him and Eric Jones that just makes it worse.
He also knows that teammate of his is in the same equipment he's in. That's going to be a hard one to pass. Car bottomed out on him right there.
Yeah, and for Ross Chastain and Eric Jones, who are leading this race, you want to see this stay 3 wide as long as you can to keep these guys from being able to utilize those fresh tires.
That was huge for Bubba Wallace to choose Eric Jones to push him out on those 2 tires, being able to get out there in that clean air and hold on to this with 11 to go.
Here comes Hocevar into that mix. And boy, they're still 3 wide further back.
Well, that shows you what 2 tires does. Chastain's been mired in traffic, hasn't been able to do much back there. Puts 2 tires on, gets in clean track position. Fastest lap of the race for the 1 car, Ross Chastain.
Well, that's his fastest lap. I think that really shows you just how much clean air means to those cars, and being able to do that on 2 tires and know that he's been running kind of from 8th to 12th, I would say, as we've gone through the first part of this race.
He was running 11th when the caution flag came out. Blaney back up into the top 10 now. He was 2 laps down at one point, and if he ever gets to the front, I can't wait to see the battle between him, Byron, and Larson. I'm not sure which is fastest.
He's definitely going to put his name in the mix. All right, so we've got 8 to go right here. Kyle Larson's and William Byron have. Whoa, man!
Not clear.
Was there contact there between Bubba Wallace and Eric Jones?
I don't think so, but Jones tried to pull it down there and block him on a last-minute block, and I think the air off of it and the fact that he was pulling down so hard to try to make that block.
Boy, the loss of momentum takes Eric Jones back to 9th.
Yeah, and you
He
see
just missed the bottom too, right?
Yeah, he just got loose right there going towards those bumps, and then the car started bouncing around, and it was almost a disaster.
2 tires.
Well,
maybe
for sure, it's not going to help it. I mean, the car is definitely going to have less grip. These guys are all in a vulnerable spot. See Ross Chastain get out front and be able to take that track position, but these guys are going to pass him most likely before it's all said and done. Denny Hamlin and Eric Jones have had a little more trouble, but they may net out better than they were before the caution.
The problem with Chastain is he doesn't have just one car to block. You're not going to be able to look over that shoulder on the outside and say, oh, I got him covered, because the other one's going to be on the bottom. Which one do you block?
Well, we know he's really good at putting his car in a position to be able to defend better than anybody, but it's going to be tough to hold those 4 tires off.
Goes Byron to the outside of him.
William Byron around the outside. Wow.
Yeah, and he got tight, and that let Kyle Larson slip right through with momentum, and that just, you know, the 2 tires and the lack of grip. But if Ross can just hold on and stay in the top 5 here, running 11th before that pit stop there, those 2 tires will have gained half the track position that they needed to get towards the front.
Chevy's 1, 2, 3. They have 4 of the top 5, but for Bubba Wallace in 4th. Ryan Blaney is now the leading Ford in the race in 7th. Stenhouse in position to get the final championship, or rather stage point championship point here, if he can hold off Denny Hamlin.
Well, and that's a great shout out, Mike. I think when you talk about Ricky Stenhouse, we've seen him have some good runs, and to score those stage points, that's what you have to do. We've seen Logano survive off of stage points, has no finishes, but Ricky Stenhouse and his team have done a good job of putting themselves in position to have some decent finishes as they have gone through the start of this year.
And he's got a lot of distance on Hamlin, who's about to get swallowed up 3 wide behind him, but not for points with 3 to go.
Here we go.
All right, Larson back to the lead. It'll be the 3rd time today that Larson's been out front.
You say that, Mike, and I like where you went with that. He's the fastest car out front, but he can't seem to make it work in the pit area. If that car's how you beat that 5 car today, is to do it on pit road.
Yeah, and I think
in a short run, right?
I think he beat the guys that put 4 tires on that time. Cole Custer cut him a little bit of a break, being able to go and pit a little deeper in his box. So he got out better this time, but that timing will be real easy to get off.
Here's 4th place, Hocevar on the bottom. Trying to take that spot from Bubba Wallace. Final lap of stage 2.
It's a fantastic run by these 2 cars, the both of them. Blaney getting into that finally in the realm of this conversation. He's going to be there by the time it's all said and done. There he is.
Well, for the first time in 2025, we have a repeat stage winner. Kyle Larson has just scored his 2nd stage win of the season. After 9 different stage winners in the first 4.5 races, Larson breaks through for number 2.
turns out that our drivers only broadcast is a little unpredictable.
I fed the baby.
It's a little surreal. I'm talking to Ryan Blaney.
Kevin Harvick is a psychopath.
Ricky, what are we going to do?
I wonder what those guys in the studio are doing.
Eating ice cream. Hey, you guys don't have any Fox staff bringing you ice cream up there?
I'm extremely embarrassed to wear this hat.
That was a horrible experience.
So, did anyone learn anything from this?
Nope. I'm relieved that this is over. I've never been more nervous in my whole life.
Drivers only. Friday night on Fox, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, with the Craftsman Truck Series, led by Kevin Harvick.
That's scary. Just to hear those words.
That's a fun experience.
It is.
Everybody, I remember my first one, Kevin. I know you do. Fun environment, doing something different, taking a driver completely out of his comfort factor. Good place to be. It's kind of where I like to be. I know you like to be comfortable, but I don't like comfortable.
So there is our staff for the drivers only telecast next Friday night on Fox. Joey and Brad will join Kevin in the booth. Austin and Carson will be on pit road. Now, last week we had some harsh comments for NASCAR and one of their single source suppliers with the spate of problems with power steering, a single source part. But Larry Mack did some investigating and found out the problem, well, may not be with the supplier or their quality control. Larry.
There is a lot more to the story. The rack and pinion and the power steering is built by a company called Woodward. And it's one of the single source parts that teams can do work within. You have to buy the components, whether it's the torsion bar, the piston size, the ratio. You have to buy those parts from Woodward, but they are working internally because, Mike, the ultimate goal is to make sure your driver has good power steering assist, but not robbing horsepower, because that power steering assist, it definitely takes horsepower away from the engine. So they're trying to walk that balance between making the power steering right, but not robbing horsepower.
So, Larry, the teams can modify those parts?
They can't modify them, but they're still working within there with different parts and pieces. So, yeah, they're not define modified, Mike.
I'm going to look at that gray area between the lines of the rule book and see if we can find that there.
NASCAR is working hard on this to try to make sure not more is being done than what's supposed to.
Thanks, Larry. Appreciate it. All right, pit road will be open this time. We still have 100 laps to race here in the Nevada desert. Hendrick Motorsports coming in 1-2, Larson and Byron. Regan.
William Byron continuing to have a solid day up here in the second position. Right now, the car too free. When he got out front, he was able to give good details about that. The 5 car of Kyle Larson reminded to stop short right here, as we've been talking about. Cliff Daniels keeps asking, anything we can help you with? He said, nope, it's good right now. And the 1 car, Ross Chastain, a good 2-tire car call. A little bit too much ground contact when they got out front. Otherwise decent. Jamie?
Bubba Wallace's 23 pit crew been on their A game. Air pressure, only 4 tires. The 77 Hocevar, he's blocked in, has to back it up, cost him serious time on pit road. There was a discussion whether to take 2 or 4. They took 4 on the 77.
Well, a lot of co-opetition there with where drivers stop in the box as to impede or not impede the car in front or behind. Kyle Larson with the stage win. Welcome back to the Pennzoil 400, presented by Jiffy Lube at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. You're watching our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, celebrating 100 years of an American icon, the Goodyear blimp. We're at the end of stage 2. We're going to go down to pit road between pits 30 and 31 and join Chris and Jamie.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mike. Good place to enjoy the race. The question coming in, Christopher Bell, who could stop him? Maybe what could stop him? A loose wheel. And he's not the only one, as we have illustrated and they have pointed out throughout the race. Just a quick recap. People like Chase Briscoe, and this is how it's gone. A tire, wheels have been bouncing around. Even Ryan Blaney had to stop for a tire that cost him. And then Christopher Bell, who got as high as second after starting beyond 30th, had to work into another pit to change a tire, and that knocked him back a little bit. He has never led in this race. Kyle Busch also losing a wheel.
I mean, it's just been a day of penalties, Chris. You see right here, Kyle Busch loses that wheel. Didn't end his day, but they had to go back and work on that car multiple laps down now.
The Stage 2 winner, Kyle Larson, worth mentioning that every time Larson has won Stage 2 here in Vegas, he has gone on to win the race 3 previous times. What else are you noticing about the pit problems or pit penalties so far?
Yeah, I mean, 11 penalties so far today, 7 of those being pit road speeding penalties. Only had 4 speeding penalties last year, so everybody's pushing it to the limit, Chris.
All right, and the Hendrick cars, obviously they've had success here. Austin Cindric, who won Stage 1, he's led the most laps, but he also had a loose wheel.
Yeah, and I like his teammate Ryan Blaney. I know that he's had an up and down day, had the tire issue early on, but he worked his way back up to 6th at the end of that stage. I think he's going to be a threat for those Hendrick cars before the race is over today.
All right, Mike, 11 different leaders so far. 16 is the record at this track, so we may hit that before this is all over. Back to you.
Thanks, Chris. Boy, pit road problems today, and we've just had a couple more. There are the drivers that have been affected. Let's add to the list Ty Gibbs speeding on this pit stop. Ty Dillon removing equipment from his pit on this stop. And Kyle Busch, 34 laps down, too fast entering pit road. Now up front, Michael McDowell and Austin Dillon did not pit at the end of the stage, so they will restart on the front row. They were last on pit road 20 laps ago, so they moved from 31st and 32nd all the way to the front of the field. Daniel Suarez took just 2 tires on his stop, and he will restart 3rd.
I like it. It's time to gamble. You got to give luck a chance to operate and do something different. You're mired back here all day long. 31st, 32nd place. McDowell obviously started on the pole, but Austin Dillon, let's do something. Let's try something.
Well, when they take the green right here, Clint, I
hear you.
I want you to tell me how happy you are about taking that chance, because there's still 31st place cars that are trying to lead the field down into the corner.
Well, we're going to need a caution pretty quick.
Now we mentioned,
just don't be the caution.
We mentioned Hocevar, who got blocked in leaving his pit. He will restart 23rd of the 32 cars that are on the lead lap. Josh Berry came in a second time to retighten the right front, and we are back to green. Let's see how long McDowell can stay out front. Maybe a corner, maybe 2. 3 wide.
Well, Austin's in trouble already.
Yeah, as soon as you don't have track position, no tires is just going to put you in a position where you're just in the way. And Michael McDowell is going to have that track position for a minute, and then he's going to be in the same boat.
And around his outside comes Kyle Larson back to the lead. Suarez to the inside for second place with 2 fresh tires.
Well, Suarez has done a good job today. He's definitely kept himself up in that top 10 and given himself a chance since that first caution. As you see the wake of Kyle Larson go across the nose, and he'll have to check up a little bit there. William Byron has a run on Michael McDowell there to get to the inside for 3rd place. So not going to take long for the players to be the same as cycle back up front. As you see Byron get a little loose.
Well, Suarez crossed over to that bottom and got him in the wake of it. Had to move out and around to him and find that clean air.
And coming with Byron is Chastain, who gambled with 2 tires on the last stop, and that has paid off for him with track position right now.
Yeah, and he went from 11th to 3rd on that 2-tire gamble over the last run. So it's definitely given him a chance to be on even tires now and put himself in a position to race at the front of the pack in the top 5. And a lot of times that's what you need. You need just a break like that, but you got to be willing to take the chance. And Phil, sitting up on that pit box, is willing to take that chance and put them in a position with Ross being aggressive to have the track position and get out there a little ways and only lose a couple spots. It allowed him to fire off on even tires, even 4 tires here on this run.
I think it played right in their hand. What I mean by that is that caution came out right at the perfect opportunistic time for them to be able to capitalize on that.
Well, they knew they only had so far to go till the end of the stage. They knew the caution was coming and made a calculated gamble, and it paid off. So here's Larson in front of Byron and Suarez, or Suarez and Byron, if you will. Chastain looking in, Bubba Wallace coming. Michael McDowell in 6th, fading just a bit with no tires. Let's go to pit road.
Update, Daniel Suarez talked to him the start of the race. He qualified 23rd. He said, but that is no indication of what we have. He said, I feel like I have a better race car than we did here in the fall, and they finished 3rd. He said, we're just a couple small adjustments away from dialing it in. He says the balance is good. They took this gamble with 2 tires, obviously, because they feel like the car is capable to hang up there.
And there they are, right in the mix. Now, coming fast is Ryan Blaney. He is 6th place, works to the inside of Bubba Wallace, right up to the bumper of Chastain as they enter turn 1. Blaney spent 77 laps of this race, 1 or 2 laps down. And now he's worked his way up to the top dozen.
Ryan Blaney had a practice crash yesterday, right rear tire blowing out, so he had to start at the rear of the field, not qualifying. Started this race off, made some ground up, then had some trouble on pit road, had to go to the back of the pack again. Struggled making up those laps with the way that the cars got lapped, but he's had a fast car the whole time. You see Byron finally has worked his way around Daniel Suarez, and Kyle Larson's checked out by a little over a second right now.
Guys, the problem with 2 tires or no tires, it's not that 13-lap run like we had a while ago. Even if you split this stage in half and come a little earlier, you're going to have to run 35 to 40 laps. That's asking a lot.
And I think that when you talk about that, those cars were still off the pace. So, Regan?
Well, Kevin, you see on the screen right there the 20 of Christopher Bell, of course, going for 4 straight today. If that's going to happen, though, something drastic is going to have to change. Ever since they had that issue with the loose lug nut, they stopped in the 19 pit box, and he got back in traffic again. The report from him was terminally tight, so much so that on the last pit stop, they actually went under the hood to make significant adjustments to that 20 car.
Well, he's picked up 5 spots since the restart. Bell has up to 23rd right now, trying to do what no one has done in the Cup Series since Bill Elliott in 1992 and win 4 of the first 5 races.
Well, it looks like that streak's going to come to an end today for Bell, but it's still been a great run of winning those 3 races. They've definitely established themselves as championship contenders again, and I think we're just seeing another young driver come into his own.
Yep. And speaking of Elliott's, there's Bill's son Chase, a champion in his own right, in 21st place right now. Christopher Bell trying to chase him down inside of Eric Jones there, and back up here at 4th place. Ross Chastain has Bubba Wallace and now Ryan Blaney after him.
You in 23:45, too bad for the run off the top.
And this is the frustrating, like you see Blaney right here, and you got Bubba on the outside, and then you hear 45 coming up behind you, and you know he's not pushing you. He's pushing his teammate. And the next thing you know, you're side by side with Bubba, and the 23 goes by you. You've lost your momentum. The 45 will go by, but you see the 45 all the way up on the top. Ryan Blaney does exactly what he needs to happen right there to finish that pass and clear Bubba Wallace, because that can work out and you wind up losing a spot that you thought you should have easily gained.
Well, Blaney's in a spot now where he's not going to find any friends. He is the only Ford in the top 7. Got to look back to Noah Gragson in 8th to find the next one, and then Keselowski in 12th.
And really, yesterday, that's how it looked. It looked like Ryan Blaney had one of the best cars, but he didn't. The 22 car, the 6 car, none of those cars looked anywhere even close to Ryan Blaney's lap times.
Kyle Larson has now passed Kevin Harvick to lead all drivers in laps led at Las Vegas. At Las Vegas, we're under the 7th caution flag of the day. Evel Knievel's ride, shades of the Snake River Canyon. Cody Ware is okay. He's climbed out. The AMR safety crew right on the scene, but that's a tank slapper right there.
It's got out from underneath of him.
Regan.
24 car William Byron. After a couple laps, the car came to him. It was good, not asking for any adjustments. The 5 car of your leader, Kyle Larson, no comments at all on the radio. Jamie?
Bubba Wallace said his biggest fear is getting too tight for the end of this run, so they will free him up just a little bit. The team's been on it. The 99 of Daniel Suarez happy to get rid of those 2 tires. They put 4 on.
Kyle Larson got a great launch, and he will lead most of the field off pit road. Way out in front of them is Ross Chastain again with a 2-tire gamble.
I saw Bowman backing up back into his stall. Speaking of backing into his stall,
Ty Gibbs.
He is backwards in his stall. Hocevar was pulling out of his box and
turned him in. That's a legal stop, right, Larry?
He's in his box, so it is legal.
There you go.
Doesn't say exactly what configuration you have to be there.
He's had a bad day, though.
Yeah.
Hocevar hasn't, and that
Let's go, fellas.
took Hocevar back out of the.
Well, he had a tough night
track
last
position
night.
that he
ran
had.
at Highland and Sprint Car Series and had a triple barrel roll flip. Climbed out, was okay in his debut in that series. As we clean up from Cody Ware up in turns 3 and 4. There's some Hocevar radio.
You might as well just take 4. Second there.
I can understand that frustration. Here it is.
Ooh, he's trying to lead, but Gibbs is already nosed into that pit box.
Yeah, so there's
tough.
There's 2 ways that can work. The 54 right. Waiting for the 77, and a lot of times, this is why we're under caution here with Cody Ware, but a lot of times the crew chiefs or the teams will communicate back and forth when they're pitted next to each other like that, and they'll say, hey, we're going to do 2, and a lot of times they'll tell the car that's coming into the pit stall that we need to wait, we're just going to do 2 tires, or the guy that's only putting on 2 tires has to know and should be looking in his mirror to know that that car is coming around, and you got to wait. You can't just gas it up and drive into the side.
How about this camera work?
Yeah, when this left front tire starts flopping around right here.
Well,
stuff flying.
That upright's not attached to much anymore. Andy Mitchell, Mike Drana, Steve Sajak, all of our camera guys. Eddie O and Dave Miller, Terry Ford, all of them. We really appreciate your efforts week in and week out to bring us these great pictures. You think the mailman's got it tough through rain, through sleet, through dark of night? Nothing shall stay these cameramen from their appointed rounds. Next Sunday, the NASCAR Cup Series is in Homestead, Miami Speedway. All our camera guys will get a nice tan, I hope, as we get ready with pre-race at 1:30 Eastern and the green flag at 3 o'clock. Only right here on FS1.
Always one of the best races of the year. Such a unique styled mile-and-a-half racetrack. They may be the same size, but they will drive nothing alike, running right up next to the fence all the way around the corner on both ends to be the fast car.
There's our crew, hard at work. Well, except for Drano. I wouldn't call that work. Looks more like fun to me. Larry?
Yeah, Mike, this sets up an interesting situation. If you see smoke coming out of our booth, it's not artificial. I promise you there's a lot going on in here right now. Because as I mentioned earlier, with that stop right there, even with these guys changing just rights, that still kills a set of tires. So right now, for the most part, everybody has 2 sets of stickers and they have their qualifying scuffs. Now, we're going to go back racing with probably somewhere 72, 73 laps to go. That's outside the fuel window, but let me remind everybody, Joey Logano ran 72 laps in September to win that race, making one less stop than everybody else. Got a lot of cars on the lead lap. You may see some at the very back come in and at least top off to see where we go from there.
32 of our 36 starters, Larry, are still on the lead lap, and that'll include Todd Gilliland, who gets the free pass. He earlier, on the last caution, he came in before pit road was officially opened. They were there for a couple of laps making repairs, but now Gilliland will be the 32nd and final car on the lead lap. We've got Chase Briscoe down 1, Van Gisbergen 8 laps back, Kyle Busch 34, and they've just hauled Cody Ware's car to the garage. Couple of late stops to top off. This will be Gilliland again and Alex Bowman. What do you think of this 2-tire gamble at this stage?
Well, I vote for 2 tires never, but that was just that was just my my downfall, and I think when you look at Ross Chastain and his team, they've made this work a lot. I've seen this over the years. These guys have definitely gambled and done this 2-tire strategy a lot, but it's worked out for them today. They've definitely come out on the positive side of things, and I think the closer you can keep yourself towards the front of the pack, and now you've got the lead, as little amount of time on the left side tires as any point in the race.
Let's go back to the pit road incident where Carson Hocevar is trying to come out of his pit. And when he fires off, you'll see Ty Gibbs come into the picture from the right there. I mean, he's already there.
Yeah, so and, I think that's on Carson or the communication between the 2 teams. But Ty Gibbs is already almost into his box, and from a driver's standpoint in the top of the 77 pit box, you got to be aware of where that car is to know that you want to take off and you don't want to lose time, but you can't just run into the side of the guy in front of you coming into a stall.
Definitely a lack of communication on either one of them, or both of them maybe for that matter. I noticed Carson was outside on the outer portion of his box as well. Makes it harder for Gibbs to come around. Obviously, he came around somebody as well.
He had to come around Bubba Wallace right there, and he was definitely stopped short in his pit box. But
he was way out towards the outside line.
And that's the danger in the 2-tire stuff, especially when everybody's on pit road doing different things.
All right, now there's the choose. I want to show you something that happened on the last stop. Here is the 5 pit box for Kyle Larson. Larson stopped short in the box. much later, lead lap car. Here comes the 41. He stopped way long in the box because he knew that Larson would be exiting. And that's an example of that. It's a great Darrell Waltrip word, co-opetition. Work with the fella next to you so neither one impedes the other. Just the opposite of what happened between Hocevar and Gibbs a little bit ago here.
Another one that took 2 tires is Austin Cindric. You see him in the second row inside. They've been all over the board in this race as well. Was up front, had a really fast car early. Had some trouble through all the chaos that we've had with the cautions and the pit road mess. Took 2 tires here with a gamble to get that track position back. Let's see how it holds up.
So that Toyota GR Supra pace car hits pit road. All Chevys in the front 6 except for Austin Cindric's white Ford. Into the Echo Park Automotive restart zone, and we are back to green.
Look out.
Yeah, Austin Cindric drove across the nose of the 99 car right there. Daniel Suarez tried to put it 3 wide and checked up to keep from having a wreck. Oh, man.
And there you got one. It's Stenhouse and Blaney. Stenhouse, Blaney, Jones.
Wow. Threaded the needle there, Haley.
A
that was
twofer.
Close.
It's destroyed. See there.
Austin Dillon comes to pit road, and he may have had some damage there, as well as Stenhouse, Blaney, and Jones.
Yeah, so this wreck is going to start pretty early, and it's going to start with Austin Cindric driving over the nose of the 99 car when he tries to go and put him 3 wide here, and that's going to stack that whole bottom row up. And the next thing you know, when we come off of turn 2, we're going to have a stack up.
Suarez was definitely underneath of him. That was about the first wreck. But now we got these guys all stacked up here, 4 wide coming off the corner. They just run out of room. Blaney got up into Gregson. They couldn't move up because Bubba was on the outside of him. They couldn't move up because the wall was on the outside of him. Run out of room. Tore up a really good race car.
Now you're riding with Noah Gregson, the Ford Performance Cam. Yeah. Just the big squeeze coming off turn 2 there.
Yeah, and I think the 20 car on the bottom probably had no idea there was 3
4
cars.
wide, yeah.
3 cars on the outside.
This is from Blaney.
Golly, big shots. Ryan Blaney's had a frustrating day. He knows he has a really fast race car, and it seems like everything that can go wrong just keeps going wrong to keep him from getting all the way to the front.
To your point, you could see the 20 car was in the middle of the racetrack. He didn't know that he was 4 wide on the bottom.
Now Stenhouse had already spun down off the bottom of the racetrack when the biggest part of the crash happened there.
Mind you, he's still wrecking right
Yes,
there.
yeah. He's going to get hit one more time
yet.
right there. With Jones, second impact with Jones there.
Yeah, that first impact was big. You saw his head shoot forward. I mean, we've seen so many big shots for Ryan Blaney over the last couple of years, and that's another one.
How about the last couple of days?
Yeah.
That one yesterday in practice. So here's Stenhouse, bottom left, and they get stacked up, and Allmendinger turns him inadvertently.
He did a good job of keeping that thing out of the wall. Probably saved him from getting in the next wreck.
The next wreck, yeah.
2 separate wrecks.
Yeah, the next was going to be right in his lap as well. I think that's right along with Eric Jones. Another promising weekend, fast race car, nothing to show for it.
Kyle Larson leads them on to pit road, and this is going to be fuel only for Larson and a lot of these top contenders.
Mike, we're there. We're there. You make sure that thing's full of fuel, save all you can under caution, you're there.
What do you got left for tires, Larry?
Well, if you didn't put stickers on that time, you've got 2 sets of stickers and your qualifying scuffs. So even if you put tires on, 1 set of stickers, 1 set of scuffs for basically 65 laps of racing.
Well, and look at this. Now you see Ross Chastain flip it there. He put 4 tires on, and the leaders put no tires on. So this will be interesting. Jamie?
Bubba Wallace had a really good car, led 20 laps today, and you saw him get squeezed into the wall there when they were 4 wide. Had damage on the left rear. You see him taping it up there with Barabon. They swapped out and decided to put scuff tires on because they only have 1 set of sticker tires remaining. So they'll continue to work here, Mike.
Thanks, Jamie. Well, looks like a lot of more than cosmetic damage on Bubba Wallace's car. Dare we listen in to Ryan Blaney's radio?
Who caused that, Tibby? Was it my fault? I mean, we were 3 wide. We had 2 out, 1 in. I'm as close as I can get to the 20, so I don't know. The 20 apparently just shoves it through the middle. Doesn't have any regard for anybody, apparently. I don't know. Whatever.
I'm talking with spotter Tim Fedowa, and as we've said, it looked as if Bell didn't realize they were 4 wide at that moment.
Yeah, and that's just what's created here on these restarts. Watch this impact. Oh, gosh. Yeah, that first impact, I mean, that's probably full lock on the Hans and then smacking it back against the back of the seat. So they've done a lot of work inside the car on the foam and some of the things that they've had you do with your headrest over the past couple of years. And you see why right there.
Six cars involved.
Yeah, there was a lot of cars that just barely got through there. It could have been way worse.
Now let's watch and listen. Now watch Justin Haley in the 7 slip through.
I see a hole. I see a hole. Oh, no, no. Yes.
Wow. Good choice. Wow. Sometimes you got to be a little lucky.
That's right.
Austin Dillon to the garage. So Dillon, Reddick, Blaney, Wallace, Jones, and separately Stenhouse off the bumper of Allmendinger. Bring out this caution at lap 195, 8th caution flag of the day. Chase Briscoe gets the free pass, and Riley Herbst is speeding. Welcome home, Riley.
Chase Briscoe getting the free pass is amazing. That car was 4 laps down, guys. You could go back in the history of this race and look back a long ways before you find somebody that's been able to come from 4 laps down.
Now Chase Elliott came in for left side tires on this stop as we get ready to go back to green. That was Herbst's 2nd speeding penalty of the day. Well, not as many contenders as before. 31 cars on the lead lap counting Briscoe. He and Elliott will start at the back along with Stenhouse.
Well, we see our players in the back. You got Larson deep in the field, Byron deep in the field, and we saw what being in the middle of that pack does for you. It puts you in an opportunity to get your car tore up.
Haven't seen Ryan Preece today, but here he is, popped up in the top 10 right there, along with his Ford stablemates, Gregson in 3rd and Barry in 7th. 4 Chevys in the top 10, Suarez, McDowell, Allmendinger, Hocevar, and 3 Toyotas, Reddick, Hamlin, and Nemechek. Back to green. Kyle Larson, who's led the most laps today, restarts 18th back there with Bell and Byron and Cindric. Preece in the middle of 3 wide. Trying for 4th. With Reddick in front of McDowell and Suarez charging on the outside. Pole sitter Michael McDowell overcame a speeding penalty back at lap 114. Currently up in the top 3. Led the first lap, trying to win it. Something nobody's ever done here at Vegas is do both those things. But here he comes around the outside of Daniel Suarez for 2nd place. Nope, not this time.
Well, it's been a wild day to see the different cycles of players up in the front of the pack. Right now we see Tyler Reddick leading the field. Michael McDowell back at the front of the field.
How about Josh Berry in a 21 car? We were just talking about him having, trouble and being in the back, losing his track position. Now all of a sudden with this caution that came out, he's back in the top 5.
Berry looking to give the Wood brothers back-to-back top 10s for the first time in 4 seasons.
Yeah, as you're right on board with Noah Gragson right here in the 5th position. He's been up and down today, had a fast car in practice yesterday, and putting himself back up in the front of the pack at the end of this race.
You hear him get out of the gas at the wall. He got tight and run out of real estate. Stacked him up behind him.
Sorry, not sure we expected a ton of lead changes today, but we're 1 shy of the record. Car to wall turn 2 settles off down to the track apron, and I'm not sure we'll make it around. It is Van Gisbergen. 3rd time today.
He's had tire troubles, and as slow as he's going, I'd say he had more.
Yep, limping down the back straightaway.
Right,
he's halfway there.
down.
And he may get to pit road on his own. Stay green.
Yeah, as many right front tires as they have cut down on that car. They've obviously got something that keeps rubbing against the tire, but surely at some point they run out of tires.
Wow. Whoa. Byron way around the outside. Way around, passes 4 at once, including Bell and Larson.
Well, this is those guys that had the track position. Byron and Larson. Oh, look out.
That was Briscoe bumping into Keselowski briefly.
That battle to the clean air, right? Getting up back through the field with those teammates is big, and Byron getting back around Larson is huge.
Elliott clears Stenhouse there. There's Bowman battling Allmendinger. And let's go up to 2nd place, Daniel Suarez. They're talking about fuel.
We're definitely close, Frankie. A little bit short here, but let's just go hard here and get what we can. And then we'll worry about it in a little bit.
No saving until I let you know. They'll tell me when to start worrying about it.
And Suarez in 2nd place. Carson Hocevar has come to pit road. Going to be a lengthy stop. Looks like they're going to change 4 and send him back out, but I believe Hocevar may fall off the lead lap here. Tyler Reddick out in front of Daniel Suarez, Michael McDowell, Ryan Preece, and Denny Hamlin. We'll take you back side by side with 60 laps to go.
You gotta be kidding me. Yep, 19 car lost the wheel. No way. All right, now they're telling us we're a penalty. They picked a hell of a time to tell us. They should have told us when we first came off pit road. What the is that? We were too fast. That doesn't make any sense. It's all good. We'll get that out of the way now. We don't want to be Captain Positive here, but we got another shot at this.
53 laps to go in Las Vegas. Tyler Reddick leading Daniel Suarez by 0.4 of a second. Michael McDowell in third. A lot of differing strategies in play as Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, William Byron try to work their way up from the late teens here, with still 30 cars on the lead lap. And Larry, what are you hearing about strategy?
It's all over the place, Mike. We're hearing some crew chiefs tell drivers we're a little bit shy. I need you to save a little bit. They're going to try to run this thing to the end. Tyler Allen, just about 2 laps ago, told Denny Hamlin in 11, running 4th right now, run it as hard as you can. We're going to split what's left in this race as far as down the middle laps run.
Okay. Hamlin hasn't been much of a factor today. What fell off the lead lap for a while. Got a free pass back at lap 114.
Yeah, I mean, at one point, Denny Hamlin was, he was the last car in the pack and couldn't go anywhere. And they got themselves in some strategy, got themselves a little bit of clean air, and have kept it up in the front to be in position to capitalize on some sort of finish from today. So we'll have to see how all this cycles out, but they have at least made what looked pretty dismal to be a lot better than what it could have been.
Here's 12th place. Austin Cindric getting past Noah Gragson, Zane Smith. Whoa, that is close. And William Byron. Tyler Reddick now has the fastest lap of the race, 184.9. At lap 202, which would have been coming off this restart after the 8th caution flag of the day.
Well, we thought Tyler would be. We don't know anything. We've made that very clear. But we thought Tyler Reddick would be a contender today based on his past history because of, the way that he's run here. But he's put himself up in the front of the field and just not sure about where the strategy is going to play out.
That's exactly right. The strategy is going to be the name of the game here. It's going to come down to strategy. Who plays their cards right? Hey, by the way, we're in Vegas, but I think somebody's going to gamble. That somebody won the race. Logano won the race last year, put himself into a championship situation.
And of all the guys that gamble, all the guys that have pitted, I mean, the one car of Ross Chastain is really the first of those cars that came in and got themselves at the back based upon that strategy to put fuel in their car. So William Byron is trying to chase this guy down in Ross Chastain. So we'll see. Like you say, Clint, there's a number of different ways that this can work out. Oh, man.
That's as close as you can get right there.
3rd place. Michael McDowell hanging tough there against Denny Hamlin. We're going to go old school. We'll be in downtown Las Vegas instead of on the Strip when we come back from this double box break and have a little fun here with NASCAR on Fox on Sunday. 46 laps to go in Las Vegas. Tyler Reddick leading as we take you Fox side by side.
I saw it in this thing.
42 laps to go. And there's the lead battle. Tyler Reddick, Daniel Suarez, Denny Hamlin. Joey Logano in the picture. Tyler Reddick, rather, Josh Berry, 1.2 seconds back.
Larry, I'm thinking these teams, there's going to be some of them pitting here like you're talking about. Somebody's going to gamble, right?
Well, exactly, especially when you look at many drivers on the lead lap. Again, they've told Denny Hamlin, it's Chris Gale, I made the mistake, said Tyler Allen. Chris Gale said, run it, we're going to split it. If they're going to split it, Clint, we're probably talking around lap 230 to 235.
And I think we just heard Cliff Daniels tell his driver, you're doing a good job on that fuel savings. You're right where we need to be. I think that'll be a team that is the flip side of this equation and will probably try to make it.
27 lead changes, one shy of the record here. So instead of going to the strip, we're going to Glitter Gulch, downtown Vegas. We're going to do this old style. We're going to do a Sunday NASCAR on Fox. Crank it up. Absent spotter chatter. Just car noise. Crank it. Daniel Suarez versus Tyler Reddick for the lead. Logano, Hamlin looking on. Ryan Blaney checked at the care center and released. 2 hard hits for him this weekend. One in practice yesterday and this one today. Back in the race, Austin Dillon. And here's Jamie.
Yeah, he had a fast race car, but 2 hard hits for Ryan Blaney. Ryan, what exactly? You guys were 4 wide.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it was my fault. I didn't. I thought I had 2 underneath me and 1 outside, and I guess there was 2 outside of me, and I pitched the 2 guys in the wall. So I'm sure that's my fault. I got to watch the replay again to know for sure, but I'm pretty sure it was my mistake. Just long weekend. We finally got up to the 2 outside. It's a hard angle, but I don't know. I don't know if I didn't leave enough space. Maybe the 20 could have left more. I think it was just tight 4 wide. But shame it tore up cars. Long weekend for our Menards Pennzoil Ford Mustang. Thought our car was really good. Finally got up to the top 5 there, and then didn't. And then wrecked. So let's move on to next week.
You all right?
Thanks.
Thanks, Jamie. Ryan Blaney will join Shane Van Gisbergen and Cody Ware out of race. 6th place. That's Alex Bowman going by Ryan Preece. Here comes A.J. Allmendinger.
Here comes Reddick as well.
To pit road with 34 laps to go. Josh Berry to the inside of Suarez, and that's for the race lead. That will tie the record for lead changes here at Las Vegas. Joey Logano moving into 2nd.
Oh, we got some trouble right there.
Stop, big time.
And Tyler Reddick re-enters the race a lap down with that green flag stop.
You can hear that impact really ratcheting, having trouble getting that lug nut turned.
So much pressure on those pit crew guys to perform week after week.
That's going to take that one out of this very equation unless something else happens.
2 Fords fighting it out at the front. The Wood brothers and Team Penske. Berry coming off a top 5 finish at Phoenix last week. And Logano, who has earned all those stage points already, but still looking for a top finish to show for it.
Their door, quarter, it's clear, one at the wall.
Well, they haven't been spectacular today, but in typical 22-team fashion, they just find a way to score points. They find a way to qualify good, put themselves up in the front of the pack to be able to just give yourself a shot at something. And they do it week after week. They haven't had the finishes to go along with it, but they've got the points that have done a great job of being able to keep them up in some sort of relevancy in the conversation of where you're at in the point standings.
And here are 4 of last year's playoff drivers, including Logano, the champion, and none of them yet has a top 10 finish this year. But Joey Logano said, hey, give me a fast car. I got a great pit crew. The wins will come.
Dot the I's and cross the T's. And as you've seen on a day like today, if you can just do that, if you can keep yourself in a position to not get crashed, to not make mistakes on pit road, to not do all the things that we've seen all happen today, you can give yourself a shot to stay up front and compete.
Jamie?
And Joey Logano, when he led those 32 laps or 30 laps earlier, he was great in clean air. He got mired back in traffic, and the car was not very good at all. The team just came on the radio and said, Joey, we need you to save gas without losing lap time.
That sounds like a tall order, Kev.
It is, and really what you'll do in that scenario is you're going to go and try to run the corner just like you normally would, get the speed through the corner. As soon as you get on the straightaway, you'll back up to 65-70% throttle. So that's going to give you the minimum amount of time lost.
Kevin, that's exactly what he's doing. He's backing off about halfway down the straightaway, just 20 or 30%, then getting back on it.
Yeah, and when you do that, that allows you to lose the least amount of time, and it takes away that wide open throttle time. So you're not maximizing you're maximizing the savings without using the part of the wide open throttle. So it's kind of backwards from what you would think. You'd think you'd need to do it all the way around, but if you don't want to lose that much time, you got to go through the corners correctly.
I'm not sure anybody else is thinking about splitting the stage. If you were going to split it, you should have already pitted and put even amount of laps on those 2 sets of tires. We're already 40 laps into this run now with 27 laps to go.
That's where, to your point, I don't know, like Larson's scenario and Byron, his teammate, lost all that track position trying to make sure that they made it to the end. Unless something big is going to have to happen for those guys to benefit from this.
Yeah, the only leader that stopped was Tyler Reddick, and he now finds himself 29th, 1 lap down, and no way to recover. There are 3 lap down cars ahead of him, even if we have a caution, that would get the free pass before he would.
And when you're talking about saving fuel, I mean, the guy that can do that the best is your leader. Out there in clean air, you don't have traffic in front of you that you're trying to race around, move around, using a different part of the racetrack. You can get your timing right. You back out of that thing, no brakes, let it roll as far as possible before you pick up the gas. Got one in the wall, Kyle.
That was Kyle Busch in turn 2. He got way up and into the wall, and now comes down to the track apron, having a pretty miserable day. We stay green.
Oh,
he'll make it around.
Down. Yeah, saw him trying to creep back up on the racetrack there.
We stay green with 25 to go. Oh, now Noah Gregson's in the wall in turn 2.
There's your caution.
That will be a caution flag, and Larry, that'll change everything.
You've got to come get 4 fresh tires, but I will say this. Reddick and Hamlin, I'm doing something totally different from everybody else. I've got 4 fresh tires on my car, fairly fresh.
9th caution flag of the day. All 3 of the the only Las Vegas native in this race that hasn't had trouble is Jamie Little. I mean, everybody else has had either speeding penalties or been in the wall or shredded a tire. Not a good day for the hometown crowd. Well, let's start with Kyle Busch in the 8 car.
Hard to tell what happened there, Clint.
Yeah, it is, but I'm wondering if the debris off of that car was what was wrong with Gregson. You saw that thing blow out.
Easy to tell with that one.
But did it, you know what I mean? Did he run over something?
Yeah.
Or he was one of those cars that got squeezed in the Blaney wreck.
Now Gregson makes it around to pit road, where they'll try to make repairs. Hamlin and Reddick were both trapped a lap down by the caution flag. I believe Eric Jones will get the free pass. Also, Bubba Wallace, Gregson, and Gilliland a lap down. And we're hearing that the free pass would have been Noah Gregson, but since he brought the caution out, he is not eligible.
Every time you think you have it about figured out, there's a new twist to it.
Well, last week I asked you, do you want tires or track position? And Clint jumped right in and said both. But you know, now you got to choose.
I'm picking tires. I want tires on my car.
They got close to 50 laps on the tires, most of them that's out there on the track right now.
I like your point with Reddick. You know, being able, those guys that just pitted, they can put 2 tires on.
Well, they can't. They got to take the wave around. They got to stay out.
That was a bad point that you made.
We're here to help, Clint.
It's gonna be exactly what it has always come down to here all day long. The pits.
Well, Paul Wolf probably knows how to get this done better than just about anybody here. He's the defending crew chief champion as Noah Gregson's car goes to the garage.
Yeah, and I think this is a scenario that's interesting because I think you're going to want 4 tires. The guys that have been out there for a while, they're not going to be able to get their car full of fuel and get off of pit road. So you're going to have less fuel in the tank with less rear weight than normal. So the balance of your car is probably going to be different. But you can't wait on fuel, can you, Larry? I mean, you just gotta.
No need to. They were close on fuel as it was.
But I'm just saying they won't. They've gone a long way, so they've burned a lot of fuel off. So that balance of that car is going to be a little different.
Yeah.
Which might not be bad for a short run.
Get them on quick, boys.
All right, pit road is open. Regan.
Like crew chief Miles Stanley asked Josh Berry, what do you need for a short run here? He said, I'm not really sure. I haven't restarted up front yet today. They're going to leave it alone. He felt like they were pretty close with the car. And the one car, Ross Chastain, he knew exactly what he needed. More turn for a short run at the end of the race here. Jamie?
Daniel Suarez from mid-pack to the top 5. It's been good for him since he's been up there in the top 5 with a little strategy. A 4-tire stop for him. Race leader Joey Logano pits. He comes in. Car has been good up front, but man, he was plowing tight when he was mired back in traffic. We'll see if the 22 can hang on. The 48 of Alex Bowman comes in as well. It's been one of those days for him, comers and goers, Mike.
Daniel Suarez gets off first with 2 tires.
I know that car had trouble. Joey Logano, not the stop they were looking for.
So Suarez the first to leave pit road, and pit road has been the story all day long here.
I knew it was going to come down to the pits.
Long stop for the Backstreet Boys. Trouble for John Hunter Nemechek. They continue to work on his car. Pit road otherwise is empty.
Suarez 4 tires, Mike.
Oh, then they got a great stop, Larry. Thank you. Coming up next on FS1, the premiere of Destined to Drive. Actor and sports car racer and lifelong car guy Patrick Dempsey returns to racing with a little help from Kevin Harvick and his friends, and that's coming up next right here on FS1 after the race.
That was a great experience. Patrick's he's a great guy. I'd never been around him, obviously, at all. See Noah Gregson.
That had to have been a cool day. Cool experience, huh?
It was a cool experience. We were at Sonoma. I flew over, and we weren't doing the broadcast anymore. Went over there and watched him race his Porsche GT3 car, and that was fun. I'd never been around sports car racing that much, and to see the atmosphere and the things that go with it. But it was fun to be able to get to meet somebody outside of your box that you didn't really know that loves racing.
Sure does. Look forward to seeing that once we're done here in Las Vegas. So in case you missed it, we've had 9 caution flags here today. Briscoe and Kyle Busch each lost a wheel. There's Busch into the wall, and the wheel sliced in half by whatever it was rubbing against when it was loose. Now Christopher Bell had to start the race in the back. Came out, they didn't get the left rear tight. So Adam Stevens called an audible. He goes, stop in somebody else's pit box and let them tighten it for you. And that's a much lesser penalty than he would have had. 4 wide there. Stenhouse spins. And Ryan Blaney gets up and into the 2 cars on his outside when they were 4 wide. Gets a double hit there with Eric Jones at lap 195. That was the 8th caution flag of the day. And we're now working the 9th, which was for Noah Gregson at turn number 2. He has since gone to the garage. So we'll restart with 29 cars on the lead lap. Here are some of the race leaders today. There have been 13 of them and a record 31 lead changes so far, and we're not done yet. In fact, into this 5th race of the season, we had 142 lead changes entering today, and that's the most NASCAR has ever had in the Cup Series through the first 4 races. So this record continues to go.
Big opportunity here for Trackhouse Racing. This could turn their season around. Well, I say season, we're only a few races in, but they've been having a little bit of trouble, and we've been documenting it. So a win here would be huge. But speaking of huge, could you imagine if that Wood Brothers car, Josh Berry, gets them a win here? That would be huge.
Trackhouse 1st and 4th. The Wood Brothers will restart 2nd. RFK Racing 3rd. You know, each of the last 4 wins for the Wood Brothers were that driver's first career win.
Yeah, and you see right here another story of the day. Just a lot of trouble on the pit crew side of it, things for Joey Logano. So lost it.
And he and Ty Dillon may have had some contact right there.
No harm there.
Nah.
That'll buff.
Oh, I love bringing kids to the races, and I love it when the parents bring hearing protection to the track for their kids. Awesome.
I love a restart with 20 laps to go. All hell's going to break loose right here, fellas.
All right, Chevy Ford front row. Pick your favorite right there. Suarez and Berry up front, Preece and Chastain, Bowman and Cindric, Larson and Allmendinger, Byron and Buscher, the top 10. Green flag. That was as tightly packed a green flag as we've seen today. Wow.
You knew it was going to. The money's on the line. Pay window's open.
Yeah, and that outside line, you see the momentum start to break at the end of the straightaway. A huge shot from Ross Chastain to the back of that 99 car. His teammate Daniel Suarez to the lead.
If it wasn't his teammate, he probably would have put them 3 wide there and went for the lead himself.
And 3 of those Hendrick cars coming. Hendrick Motorsports has won the last 4 Vegas spring races in a row.
Byron's
they're up there.
Got up through them the better of the restarts with the Hendrick cars.
Byron, Larson, Bowman all in play here. 3 Chevys and 3 Fords in the first 6. Larson shoots the middle, and that doesn't work.
No, it's just so hard to make that car. It's just not as stable in the middle like that. And saw Larson shove that thing in there to try to see what would happen, and he just couldn't make the car grip.
They're going to make these cars wide is what they're going to do. You're going to start seeing a lot of people blocking, aero blocks. Do not let that guy around. Listen to that spotter. Watch him in the mirror.
Christopher Bell's not out of this. He is 12th. He is in the mix for 4 in a row. Maybe not a favorite right this moment, but a lot can happen here in the next 16 laps.
As we go towards the end of this race, this becomes a guessing game as to where you want to go. See Josh Berry get to the bottom right there. Daniel Suarez got a little bit loose. He's going to get up beside him, but that's going to allow Ross Chastain, I think, right there.
Oh, side draft. This is really good racing. The 21 car is a little bit better than your leader Suarez. Suarez is not going down without a fight. You saw him lift out of the gas, got tight on exit.
Yeah, and that's not what Chastain wanted to see right there. With those cars side by side, I'm sure he was thinking big draft, big move.
But here comes Byron.
That's right. William Byron held him back.
Just jumped right in there and made that a 4 car under a blanket battle. Had into 1. And now off turn 2, 2x2.
They're going to have to get wide here. This 24 car's coming. His car is extremely fast. If anybody has something for this win, it's going to be Byron.
Inside of him comes the 1, Chastain, trying to loosen Byron up off the corner as they're side by side for the lead.
And that's what these guys want. They want to see those cars fight as much as possible behind them. But Josh Berry was so close to clearing Daniel Suarez.
Berry edges ahead in turn 1. Suarez will have the drive off turn number 2 to the back straightaway and retakes the lead by inches. Berry, twice a winner here in the Xfinity Series.
He's clear.
And the 21 goes to the lead.
And right behind him, this battle with Chastain and Byron is out of control.
Now Byron and Chastain traded a little paint.
Watch this.
As they battled. "12 laps to go this time." Berry pulling away. Austin Cindric has come into that now 4-car battle for third. But Berry and Suarez are yarding the field here off turn 2.
Yeah, and I think as those guys got to battling for third place, it gave these two guys up front just that nice cushion. And Josh Berry was able to complete the pass with obviously a better car than Daniel Suarez, and now he's putting a gap between them. And now you have Ryan Preece in third. So the two cars that we thought might be able to challenge for the lead, William Byron and Ross Chastain, kind of taking themselves out of it with that battle.
That's exactly right. Chastain blocked Byron's run on the outside in 3 and 4 so bad, Preece got around them both. That took them out of this equation for now. I mean, it's still 11 laps to go. But Josh Berry and his Wood Brothers 21, he is out front setting sail. It's good to see.
Well, if you were downtown or on DraftKings and you had as your trifecta Berry, Suarez, and Preece, you are one in several million right now.
This would be a popular win.
Well, let's talk. I mean, Josh Berry, as he's gone through the last 2 years, terrible situations for him to be put in. Had to get into Chase Elliott's car on the fly with Chase Elliott's injuries and the things that happened to him. He had to go to Stewart-Haas Racing, what he thought was going to be a great position in taking over the 4-car that I left when I retired. Well, guess what? We're going to sell that car. Now he's with an organization that has a great alliance with the Penske bunch, and we've covered this constantly as we've gone through the first few weeks. But now they're coming out on the racetrack and proving it on every style of track that you can have, and here he is leading the race with 9 laps to go.
Look at those old school fire suits. That's 1960s stuff right there, what the Wood Brothers wore back then and now. NASCAR's longest running team. They've been there since the beginning. And as for Josh Berry, it was just 6 years ago. He was NASCAR's weekly series national champion, racing every Saturday night.
This isn't no fluke either. I mean, this car has been fast this year. This car has been fast all day long here today. Finally got all the pieces put together, got him some track position. He's got this baby set in the wind now.
Yeah, look at that. Among the top 4, only 7 career victories among the top 4 drivers in this race.
Yeah, and going back to Josh Berry, I mean, as we go to Ryan Preece here, who's had a great day today. Solid run up in the top 5. He's kind of hung out up in that 7th or 8th place range, got on the right side of the strategy, and here he is running third.
We heard Brad Keselowski say on the grid to Chris and Jamie at the top of the day, he said, we're thrilled to have him. We're giving him the tools he needs to succeed, and he's responding. Ryan Preece.
With the race we've had today, I'm not ready to hand it to Josh Berry and the Wood Brothers just yet. We have had a chaotic race, to say the least.
Well, Larry, can you hold your breath for 7 laps? What do the trends say?
Well, we are well past that, Mike.
Okay.
There's nothing about this race that's normal. That's the reason I didn't even give you the trend. The average last caution was roughly about 20, 25 laps to go, well past it.
There was a time when the Wood Brothers looked as if they might not be able to continue in NASCAR, and Edsel Ford II stepped up for Ford Motor Company, forged an alliance with Team Penske. More than an alliance, these 21s are prepared in the Penske shops in Mooresville. It's a very close relationship between the Wood Brothers and Team Penske, and those are Ford Motor Company sponsors on that car, because Ford is a family-run organization, and so are the Wood Brothers, and there's a great synergy there that goes back generations.
And I think this only gets better, too. As this car keeps performing better and better, they're going to rely on them more and more, and that'll become a bigger opportunity for them as they work together hand in hand with Penske.
Well, let's not forget those opportunities. Dale Jr. is a massive supporter of Josh Berry. Gave him, he ran Dale Jr.'s late model stock cars for a number of years, won races all over the East Coast, and put himself in a position to have an opportunity in the Xfinity cars and wound up in a Cup car, and Dale has been a huge help to helping Josh Berry get to where it is. But usually the results get you to the next level, just like today.
Berry, short tracker from Hendersonville, Tennessee. Somewhere on his resume it says former bank teller. Well, he told me that story at the Kowicki development event at Charlotte Motor Speedway last winter. He said in his senior year of high school, he took a class where if he went and worked in the bank part-time for an hour or two, he could get out of school an hour or two early each day. So he did. That's the bank teller part of the story. He's going to need a bank teller if he's able to complete these next 3 laps and cash out here in Vegas.
When Josh ran our cars in the Cars Tour, he was in the shop every day, every time before we ran that car. He could build the whole car. He can work on the whole car. He's the exact type of guy that needs to be in that Wood Brothers Ford.
Get me around here. I want to see this white flag. Got a half a lap to go to make this race official. They can't take it from him then.
Well, up to this point, maybe the biggest line on Josh Berry's resume is he was high school classmates with Taylor Swift. Maybe today she'll be rooting for him. White flag. Last lap for Josh Berry and the Wood Brothers to seal the deal in Las Vegas. Suarez 1.1 seconds back. His last lap a 10th faster than Berry's. Ryan Preece having a career day in 3rd. Ross Chastain, William Byron, 2 Fords, 3 Chevys in the top 5.
How about this? The Wood Brothers, we're back.
What an unbelievable day for this car. And that driver, Josh Berry.
Josh Berry and the Wood Brothers win in Las Vegas. Gets his... Eddie and Len Wood and their sister Kim Woodhall and the next generation of the Woods that run this family race team. Home is Stewart, Virginia, just west of Martinsville. And there's nobody on pit road or in that garage area who is not happy for the Wood Brothers today.
Good job. Awesome job, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Suarez on his outside. Suarez, great job by him. Ryan Preece, great finish. Chastain needed that. Allmendinger. Colleague Motorsports, that 16 car had a good day today.
Cindric 6th, Bowman 7th. Allmendinger, Larson and Elliott, and Christopher Bell going for 4 in a row, ends up 12th for Joe Gibbs Racing, and he is the highest finishing Toyota. But this is just such a great feel-good story right here.
Unbelievable. When you look at the
John, see,
yeah, John Wood there.
There's his dad, Eddie. How cool. They got to be pumped.
John has been much more involved in the team as it's gone forward over the last couple of years. And
well, he took over as team president this year, and I asked Eddie, I said, are you retiring? He says, no, I just don't want to go to all those meetings. And somewhere, I know Edsel Ford is smiling.
He should be.
Yep, the godfather of Ford racing. Made all this happen. 101st win for the Wood Brothers. 20 different drivers account for those victories. It's their first in Las Vegas.
That's an impressive stat in its own. 20 different drivers that drove the famed 21 car for the Wood Brothers. Pretty incredible story.
Josh Berry becomes only the 3rd different driver to go to victory lane this year in the Cup Series. William Byron in Daytona, Josh Berry today, Christopher Bell everywhere else. Well, much like they ran across the grass in Daytona in 1976 to try to help David Pearson come to the flag ahead of Richard Petty in the Daytona 500, the Wood Brothers cruise out in the ball field as Josh Berry rolls around to salute the fans. Yep, here they come in those 1960s uniforms.
He'll be back, fellas. Just keep coming on over to the start-finish line. Josh is doing a Polish victory lap right now down the front straightaway.
Soak it in. This is cool.
Last year, Harrison Burton put the Wood Brothers in the playoffs. This year, Josh Berry.
That was an important one. 100 wins they won. Pretty incredible.
And he parks it on the start-finish line. The pride of Hendersonville, Tennessee. and the 19th different driver to win at Las Vegas. Previous best finish, 4th last week in Phoenix.
Hell yeah, son! Can you believe it? Let's go, dude. Awesome job, bro.
Jamie Little is there.
53rd career start. Hugs his wife. Josh, you are now a Cup Series winner. How does that sound?
Oh man, I don't even know what to think. Just awesome. I love this track. Las Vegas has been so good to me. I've had so many great moments here. Just struggled in the next gen car here, but man, Miles and this whole 21 team, everybody at Wood Brothers Racing, they gave me a great car today, and we just battled and battled and battled, and man, it was our day. I just can't believe it. Such a battle with Daniel there at the end, beating and banging at a mile and a half. It's crazy, but whoever was going to get out front was probably going to win, and we were able to get it from him.
Josh, you joined the Wood Brothers in the offseason. This is just your 5th race together. What does it mean to you to drive for this legendary team and now to get them back to victory lane?
I mean, it's just incredible. They've just been so good to me. It's just been a great relationship, and obviously thank everybody at Wood Brothers Racing, but Team Penske as well. They've welcomed me with open arms and tried to help me and you know, accelerate this learning process as much as I can. And I really can't say enough for Miles Stanley, man. Everybody, he is so good at what he's doing, and we have a great thing going on together. He really believes in me, and just got to thank everybody at Motorcraft, Quick Lane, Dex Imaging, Aero, Ford. I know they're going to be excited about that one, and man, we're just gonna enjoy this moment.
Go celebrate it with your team. I know they're ready. Josh Berry wins at Las Vegas.
Josh Berry, there is the pass for the win on Daniel Suarez. Now destined to drive Patrick Dempsey coming up, but first, more coverage from Las Vegas, where Josh Berry has just scored a very popular victory.
First career win, an upset winner in Las Vegas. Christopher Bell came in chasing a record streak, but Josh Berry in the 21 car, smiling as he outlasted a number of outstanding favorites. He was 40-1 coming in here in Vegas, a long shot winner. Let's check in with Regan Smith. Daniel Suarez wound up second.
That's right, Chris. The other side of that battle, Daniel Suarez. Hard battle at the end of the race with Josh Berry there. You guys had a lot go right for you today, but I know it's got to be disappointing to be that close.
Yeah, definitely a little disappointed. But first of all, congratulations to the 21 team and Josh. They did a great job. They've been fast lately, so they've been in contention. So congratulations to them. We did everything right. You know, the team did an amazing job on the strategy, pit stops. We did everything right. Our car was fast. we just struggled a little bit in the short run. And I mentioned to my crew chief just a little bit ago, because before the last run, I told him, I say, hey, if we're going to be up front, I need a little bit better short run. I'm having too much contact over there in 1 and 2. And unfortunately, I feel like that's why we lost the race. Just a little bit too much contact. And everything. I mean, I almost wrecked in 1 and 2. But overall, just very, very proud of everyone in Trackhouse. We've been working very hard, and it's showing. Freeway Insurance, Chevrolet, Coca-Cola, Quaker State, all of our sponsors that help us to be here today. Solid effort.
Third last time here, second this time for Daniel Suarez.
Jamie McMurray, Chris Myers. Seems like everybody wants to get to victory lane here, including us, to talk about it as he just pulled in his car to enjoy the celebration. We should see a little confetti flying Vegas style. I mean, this is an underdog team, as Mike and Clint and Kevin described, and an underdog driver in what is a reset race. I mean, this is a telling race about what kind of season you're going to have, at least for the most part. Christopher Bell wound up 12th, by the way, ending his 3-race win streak. So, in this kind of a reset to the season, what caught your attention, and obviously, how did Bell pull this off?
Well, it was
not pull this off. Excuse me.
I mean, it was obviously a really impressive run by Josh to be able to get to the front, take the lead from Suarez. But I don't know that we should be completely surprised. This has been a tremendous track for him. He's won a couple of Xfinity Series races here in the past. But Chris, he's had a really good season. You look back to Atlanta, he was able to be in position to win that race. He was great at Phoenix as well last weekend. They came here, they qualified well. They didn't have the mistakes that a lot of teams had today. They didn't have any tire issues. They didn't have any pit stop issues. Josh did a tremendous job.
Yeah, and a quick thought on Bell and his streak coming to an end. It was fun to watch, entertaining, and he got up to second today.
Yeah, it was an incredible run by him. Getting to speak with Adam Stevens in the off weekend, those guys had high end expectations heading into today, but it wasn't their day, it was Josh's.
Yep, Josh Bell, his day in the sun in Vegas. Happy St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. For all of us here, thanks for being a part of NASCAR on FS1. We'll see you in Miami next weekend. Stay tuned for Patrick Dempsey.
The top of the mountain, climbed all the way up and never looked down. If the road wasn't rough,